on the best bets with the GOAT, Rico. If you ain't in with the GOAT, then you betting with the bozos. I'll be up in Colorado when I pull up to the show. If you're looking for the GOAT, then you already know.
Yeah, Rico knows. Yeah, Rico knows. Yeah, Rico knows. Yeah, Rico knows.
I don't wanna play, I don't wanna do a show. I don't wanna rap, man, I don't wanna do a flow. When I see Rico, when I see the GOAT, I'ma bow down, say Rico knows.
Yeah, Rico knows. Yeah, Rico knows. Yeah, Rico knows. Yeah, Rico knows.
I don't wanna play, I don't wanna do a show. I don't wanna rap, man, I don't wanna do a flow. When I see Rico, when I see the GOAT, I'ma bow down, say Rico knows.
Yeah, Rico knows. Yeah, Rico knows. Yeah, Rico knows. Yeah, Rico knows.
Hey, what's up, YouTube, TikTok, all the MVPs out there? Good morning, guys. It's the results show for week 7. I'm going to break down all the games. I'm going to talk about everything you want to talk about. It's pretty simple. If you got a question, comment, concern, whatever it is, you can drop it in the chat. I will get to it eventually, but I'm going to try to talk about these teams so the MVPs, if you didn't know what this is for, it's so the MVPs can learn about these teams. Maybe you didn't get a chance to watch all the games. Maybe you didn't get a chance to pay attention to what was going on, but I'll break it down for you guys. And I'm going to do something right here. I never do this. I forgot to do this before the video started. So we'll go here. I am going to break down the gambling chart. Don't worry. This entire show is not just about gambling. It's going to be about the teams. It's going to be about the players, what I assessed, what I saw, things to pay attention to. We've been pretty dialed in. Now, it's been a very eventful college football season where every week you feel like a team can be so much better than they were the previous week. It's like they're two different teams from week to week. And I don't know how some of you guys feel about it. The goal here is to find the teams we can rely upon every single week. And I don't know of too many teams that are like that, right? There is the Indianas of the world. Shout out to them. There is the Ohio States. And I'll even say Alabama. I know Alabama lost in week 1, but they've been somebody that I can trust moving forward. Now, how do you trust them? Do you trust them to cover the spread every week? Obviously not. They didn't do that this time around, but they did win the game money line. And I'll be breaking down all those games. I will be taking some time to talk about the bums of college football. The bums! And I'm talking about Penn State and all their fans. They need a clean house. They need to get rid of everybody. If you're not following me on Twitter, it's RicoKnows, TikTok, all one word. On Twitter, I already talked about how terrible these dudes are. Penn State, top to bottom, got a clean house. What's it cost? I'll tell you what it costs. It costs your peace of mind. That's it, man. There's no price tag on happiness, and I'm going to share a true story with you guys on that when I get to those bums. But I'm just sitting here tap dancing for a bit while I open up all these box scores. Bear with me. I almost have them all up. I do want to talk about specific players within the box scores, some of the performances we saw. Obviously, all the games are being live streamed on the Discord stage with the MVPs every single week. You can watch these games with me while I'm reacting, but we got 4 games on the screen. We got another 4 on the TV. We got another 2 on the monitors. I only watch about 10 games at a time. Things can be missed. So in the evening, before I go to bed, I go back over it and I look for any injuries, any news, anything that I need to talk about, talking points or whatever. And then I do a little bit more research this morning. That's why the show starts at 9:30. I probably study for about 3 hours before this show starts, if I'm being just honest with you guys. Some games need to be rewatched. But before we get into all this, let's go talk about the results on the chart. Shout out to Mater Dei, by the way. Just lost to Santa Margarita. Carson Palmer's coaching that team. Went back to his alma mater, got it done, beat Mater Dei. I just wanted to give a shout out because I just saw in the chat here, Willie Bobo just wrote, this is not the year for Mater Dei. It'll never be the year for Mater Dei. In case you didn't know, Mater Dei went out and hired the wrong coach. Lara is a great high school coach. He really is. He's pretty cool. He's not the guy from Mater Dei. He's always had superiorly talented teams and didn't do much with them at Long Beach Poly. And that's happening here at Mater Dei. Just so you know. So while you have a good team, he's just not going to get it done when it really matters because he's not detail-oriented enough. He's not good enough. Anyways, speaking of not good enough, let's look at this chart. Confidence chart for week 7. Here are the picks against the spread. Did pretty decent on the locks. We had a bad run in the middle of the day where there was 3 locks in a row that missed. And it was ODU, Navy, and San Jose State. And we can talk about those games individually when they come up. But missing those 3, I tell you guys, the law of averages matter. We're going to finish strong. And we absolutely did. We crushed it towards the end of the night. Some MVPs went out and finished green because of that. Some of you guys tapped out early and quit. You ran out of your money because you don't have unit discipline and you don't understand what you're doing. And we got it done. So shout out to us. Middle of the slate, once again, really blood in the leans column. Usually these leans, I'm knocking them out and getting them right. It didn't happen this week. And that's just the way it goes sometimes. That's gambling. Finished on the week 13 and 12. The reason it's 13 and 12, if you're not paying attention, is because I went 3 and 1 down here on the overs and unders. We count those against these spreads in the leans column, especially if they're black text. Black text equals lean. Green text would be white on the final chart, but equals locks. And then if you're in the coin flips column, that's what you are. If you saw red text in this column, that would be counted against the coin flips. This week, I told you all of these would be counted against the leans. So we went 13 and 12 in that section. And then the coin flips, it was a rough one. We started off terrible. Finished pretty strong. Finished pretty awesome. Once the Colorado win happens, I predicted the Colorado win. Shout out to me. And then we go on a little run there. Shout out to Indiana covering the spread, things like that. Felt pretty good. We'll talk about it. Locks. Money line bets, you're going to do it like this, man. Usually, we're going to miss 2 on the locks column when it comes to money lines, but everything else is going to hit. Rico, why does this matter? Well, this matters big time because there was a minus 172 in this section, a minus 126. If you parlayed those 2 together, you'd be doubling units, things of that nature. Now, understand, I'm not joking. This section right here, if I put a game in the locks column, in the money line, we are right 92% of the time, and that is over 200 games now. Stop worrying about the odds and just trust when it's in this column, you can parlay it. Now, I say that, and ODU goes and shits the bed. ODU is the one game you picked. ODU is the one game I picked. ODU is what I put in my best nose play, and they still shit the bed against Marshall. 100 out of 100 times I'm picking ODU to beat Marshall. And I'd be wrong because they go out and fumble 4 times. Whole nother conversation. But we locked it. We got it right. Shout out to us. App State was a huge one. Talk about it later. Leans, we're going to be pretty good. Leans on the season, almost 80%, 79. Just a little bit more red than we wanted to be. It's unfortunate, but took a stab at it. Oh, Utah State, I'll be honest. Utah State didn't belong in this column. I just ran out of space, so I moved them over. They should have been a coin flip, but I moved them over because I wanted one empty space to be able to write the record. That is a true story. So that just sucks. That should have been a coin flip, but it is what it is. Put it over here. Got to live with the results. Coin flips over here. That's why my chart matters to me, not to you. A lot of this is just data input, and you guys don't understand. Like, I left no space here, and I didn't want to do that again over here because I need a spot to write the record. Yeah, just it's easier for me to do the math and fill up the columns because they don't auto-populate. Not every week. They do auto-populate on the props chart, which I'll flip over next. RicoKnows best plays, my favorite plays. Over here, did pretty decent. On the season, we are sitting at 73%, if I put it in this column, 70 and 26 on the season. Listen to me. You might have missed, but if you paired these, parlayed these, and you found the right combinations, Red Robin, the whole section, you'd be in the money big time every single week. This is UFC lock status. UFC lock status, and it's doing well. The only thing better than this on the entire chart is on the props chart. This over here. And we're going to talk about it. The alternate spreads is the only thing better that you're going to slam dunk on this chart. I'm telling you, for money. Parlays, if you will. Over-unders knocked them out. Talent chart. Do not fade the talent chart. Talent chart does all the toughest games. And when I got a game and I can't tell who's going to win, I just defer to the talent chart. Talent chart is something I created in the offseason that evaluates all the teams. I defer to the talent chart for the money line. And it went 7-2 last night. 7-2 yesterday. The talent chart only missed on TCU and Michigan. Everything else, it was right. Moneyline underdogs went 3 and 4, 3 out of 7. Not good, but you would still be in the positive if you bet a unit on every single one of these. You'd be green if you bet a unit on every single one of these because Pittsburgh was plus 290, Colorado was plus 180. That would have given you additional units on top. You don't have to be 50%. You can be under 50% on moneyline underdogs if you're getting them right. And we're getting them right. That's 2 weeks in a row. Broke even over here, 4 and 4. You would have been in the money because you hit a plus 172 and a 125. So 2 weeks in a row now, moneyline underdogs would have cashed you green. Some of you guys are struggling. It's that simple. I want to eat from this part of the menu. I go to the menu. I was at Red Robin the other day. I went to the menu. I opened it up, and I'm like, where are the gourmet burgers? I don't give a fuck about this menu. You know what they serve at Red Robin? They serve pizza, bro. They got pizza at Red Robin. Guess what I'm not ordering? Fucking pizza at Red Robin. Guess what you shouldn't be ordering? Something from the coin flip column. You shouldn't be ordering from this section. Same concept. All right. Props. Not bad, not great. We had a really rough weekday game slate. We were 7-14 going into the week. Absolutely terrible on the props. If you don't know, these are they're underneath. I hide them underneath, but they're still there. I still annotate the results, and they still count against the record. So those are the weekday games. We were super red, and we needed to get up off the mat. We did well, and Vegas got it wrong, especially in the afternoon slate. We went on a tear, went on a run. Some of the things I was really dialed in on these props. Now, when you look at something that missed, man, it sucks. We didn't hit the alt-under. They scored too many points. Toledo did what Toledo does. We know why is Toledo banned, Rico? We'll talk about it. Michigan State and didn't hit the alt-under. And obviously, UCLA won that game. We'll talk about it. Charlotte eventually gave it too many points, and we still didn't hit the alt-over in this. They suck so bad. They didn't hit the alt-over. That's what it was on that one. Tui Walker doesn't hit on this one because they moved Tui Walker to 40 yards, and he was stuck. 30 for 30 still hit. Like I told you guys, 30 for 30 is always going to hit. Shout out to Sorsby. He has been a cash cow all season long. JMU fails to cover the spread because they're sleepwalking, getting ready for their game. There was a trap game for ODU and JMU, and they're going to play each other next week, and we don't give a shit who wins that game. We're leaving it alone. Next couple things, like when things miss, it's Penn State sucking ass, Ole Miss sucking ass. Like, what do you want me to do, man? You want me to go out there and tell you guys Northwestern's going to win? I only got so much magic in a day, and it is difficult. It is difficult. I'm the guy going out there telling you, I think Pitt's going to cover this spread. Like, I'm the guy sitting there having to come up with some of these predictions that just sound so off the wall. And yet here we are. We'll talk about it. My God. I don't even want to make a value bet section anymore. This thing's hitting at 27%. I really don't even want to make it because it just feels silly. I put so much effort into these and put them out there, and all it is me proving to you parlays don't hit, pipe dreams don't hit. Like the only ones that are hitting are the plus 100s, plus 150. Those belong in a different column. Those belong over here because them plus 300s, 280, man, it's so fucking annoying. And this is terrible. I wouldn't bet them in a million years. Not a million years, bro. My money belongs over here. I want you guys to think about this. In the UFC, we will parlay 230s all day. 230s, 240s, 250, and we'll parlay them and feel pretty good about them. We get to college football, and everybody starts going, why do you care? Why do you care? I care because it's 70% accurate. And because you're parlaying something that's 70% accurate. And all you got to do is get 3 of them together. And you'll be in the plus money. Or just take 2 and enjoy the ROI. You could have did these in pairs. 1 pair, 2 pairs, miss a pair, got a pair, miss a pair, miss, got it, miss, got it. You see what I'm saying? You would have been in the green. It did have been pairs and you would have been in the green. On the week, it's 44% in the props, but that's not real because we're going so miserable here. Like, it's 10 and 36. If I take off the 10 and 36, if you don't bet any of these value bets, you're doing really well on the props. I can prove it. 10 and 36. I don't even want to mess up my math here, but if I go down to 64 and get rid of 36, what is 36? Is that 47? Am I tripping right now? I am tripping. 57. It would have been 52% in prop bets. But we're fucking terrible, bro. All right, enough of that. Shout out to us. Oh, by the way, on the season, we are way ahead in the locks column. We are up 8% in the locks column. It's a phenomenal place to be, really 7%. Really proud of us going this far into the season. Super green in that area, so keep trusting the RicoKnows. Vegas got it wrong corner. And then the props, we're about where we need to be, and we're down on values. It is what it is. We're going to do alt spreads here for the season. Excuse me. You're going to see sausage being made. But let's go talk about these games for a second here. It should be 16 and 7. Excuse me. Just started this. I'm going to go back and do the results on the rest of these probably on Monday, tomorrow, and we're going to find out what we've been all season against the spread Going to go back and look at all the props charts, and anytime I said something was against an alternate spread, I'm going to double check to see if I was right, and we'll go back and see, like these games here, we'll go back and see how many times I was right on an alternate spread like this. We're going to see how many times I was right on an alternate spread, and I guarantee you that number is going to be impressive to the point where that's where you guys should be living. Just getting it out there. All right, enough of that. We'll talk about these games. First thing I want to do is give a big shout out to everybody who's watching in the chat. If you're watching on TikTok, please move over to YouTube, drop a comment. It helps the algorithm. It also helps with the fact that I will interact with you. If you're watching from here, I'm not talking to you at all. At all. It's just because the chat doesn't stay up. I can't reference it, and they don't pay me. So shout out to them. All right. So the games. We had games all week long. We're going to have games all week long. If you're an NFL fan, you have games today. I won't be watching them. I'll be studying, getting ready for the next college football week. Monday Night Football's there, and then there's Tuesday. College football's on Tuesday all week long. We're going to have football Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Please, MVPs, don't ask me, am I making a video? Am I picking the spread? We've never missed a game in 3 years. You know, last year, there was a fucking hurricane, and it took out the cell phone towers. It took out the power. All we had was running water. Kim was in Virginia, safe with her mother. I was in Georgia with Ash. It was just me and my dog. And we had nothing. And you guys don't want to live a life, not just no power, no cell phone towers. So no streaming, no ability to communicate with anyone. You're just stuck there with the transistor radio. Fucking insane. I packed up my entire studio, threw it in the trunk of my car, and I drove 8 hours because all the hotels were already taken in a 3-hour radius. I had to drive 8 hours, and I say 8 hours because traffic was backed up, everybody. And I lived in a hotel for 2 weeks. And I got you guys your picks. And I made all your information, and I got you all your videos. Please don't ask me if I'm making a video. I've never missed one. It's my job. It's not a hobby. It's my job. And I have thousands of customers. I'm never going to let them down. If there's ever a time I don't make a video for a game or a fight, please call the police. Please call the police and do a welfare check on me. Something's wrong. I'm dead. I'm dead. It's the only way I'm going to miss a game. I'm dead. All right, first game of the week, Missouri State, Middle Tennessee State. I talked to you guys about this, and my prediction was pretty simple. I was going to take I was going to take Missouri State to win the game. Then the sports books came out, and they told me Clark was going to be the starting quarterback for this game, and I said, oh, hell no. They can't win with Clark. They needed Bailey. The backup quarterback is a freshman named Bailey. They need the dual-threat quarterback to win this game because he can run around, and Middle Tennessee has a slow defense, terribly slow. The DBs are slow. The ends are slow. The linebackers are slow. And if they had their dual-threat quarterback, they would win the game. So then I say, yo, MVPs, I'm going to flip to Middle Tennessee, but do a live bet. Watch the game, and if you see the dual-threat quarterback roll out, rock with them. Rock with them. MVPs listen. Some guys went out there and did it. Okay? I can't do it. Like, I can't change my picks. They're in 4K. They're written, but the analysis was there, and I told you. So as soon as Bailey started the game and came out, Middle Tennessee didn't stand a chance. Now, they should have won this game. They missed the game-winning field goal. They're the most underachieving team in the world. They really are. They have a running back in Middleborough. He doesn't belong there. I've told you guys that. He's too good to be at Middle Tennessee. And he shows out. He does what he does. 17 carries, 93 yards. You still don't hand it to him enough. That guy would have 25 carries every game if I was his coach. And yes, I was a football coach and a very successful one. Penn State, hire me. I don't even need a raise, bro. I don't even need a raise. Cameron Lacey. That boy Lacey. Lacey's innocent. Lacey's innocent. Fucking Neanderthals. Shout out to Lacey here. 6 receptions, 114 yards, first touchdowns on the season. He was open everywhere, slot receiver. I'm with him. Shout out to him. But Missouri State finds a way to win. Not a good team, not a terrible team. Middle Tennessee, we're going to fade you every time. They just struggle to score. They can't get out of their own way. They penalty. They're a poorly coached team. Next game, Liberty, UTEP. I told you, for me, Liberty is way better than UTEP. Better coach team, better players, better team, and they proved it, and they showed out. UTEP is gross. UTEP has no quarterback that they can trust. There's a shattered locker room. Split locker room, bro. They don't like each other. You ever been living in the house and your girl's giving you the silent treatment? It's the worst. It's the worst. You know how it is. Sometimes you go to sleep on the couch. Sometimes you got to let her sleep it off and sleep on it. No, motherfucker. I don't know how it is. I would never subject myself to that. I don't ever have to sleep on the couch. You ain't ghosting me in the hallway. I'm not going to live with that kind of tension in my life. UTEP's got that shit in their locker room. Scotty Walden, I rocked with you when you moved over. You need to be fired. You need to be fired. You're starting the wrong players. You're giving the wrong people the ball. I can't get down with you in any way, shape, or form. UTEP, you're done. Liberty, way to get up off the mat. This game wasn't this close. In 19-8, it wasn't this close. Telling you. Shout out to Ethan Vasco for coming back from injury and giving them a semblance of offense because they didn't have anything without Ethan Vasco, and now they do. Thursday night, I'm on La Tech. It's a lock. I believe in it. And they get absolutely throttled by Kennesaw State. So what did we learn from this? Well, number one, I can't predict quarterback injuries. La Tech, without their starting quarterback, is terrible. And even if you have a good defense, which La Tech does, it'll look terrible if your offense isn't getting first downs. They're not moving the ball. Now, Kennesaw shows up. They play Dexter Williams. This is the backup quarterback curse. We evaluated a different quarterback, or at least I did, and then Dexter Williams comes in. I know Dexter Williams. I know he's good. He's not this good, but he's good. Good enough. I watched him win games last year at Georgia Southern. I know he was at Indiana. I know the kid. He can play. But this was all about my boy Bennett at running back, the Binyard brothers playing out of their mind. I've been talking about it nonstop, and it's really about Kennesaw State having a strength and conditioning program that needs to be studied. You want to be a better program? It's all about those hours of preparation, not the game. It's all about, how long's the game? The game is 1 hour of playing time, right? 1 hour on the clock. How many hours did you spend preparing for that 1 hour? 2,000? Those 2,000 hours matter a hell of a lot more than the 1 hour on the field. And it looks like Kennesaw State, they weren't making a bunch of videos for well off. They weren't out there messing around. You think only one team is working out in all of college football because all you got is well off videos. Look at Colorado, man. They're lifting everything. Yeah? You think every other team's not lifting? Kennesaw State looks like they transformed all their players. They look like mutants, bro. Before and after photos got to be real. Kennesaw State is huge. Just muscles popping out everywhere. It looks like me in a medium shirt. I'm so impressed with Kennesaw State, how strong they are in the trenches. They're 4-2, undefeated in Conference USA. You got to respect them, especially after that performance. Especially after the performance. If you're on TikTok and you're writing comments, I'm not reading them during the show. Go to YouTube, drop it. We will interact with you. TikTok doesn't get any interaction. Thank you for asking, though. Shout out to Kennesaw State. They looked apart. La Tech fell apart. And they got no one to stretch the field. They have no true Edwards this year. They have no one that scares you over the top. And it's not going to get it done. And they can't come back. If they're trailing, they're not going to catch back up. All you live bettors out there, if you're watching a game and La Tech's trailing in the game, they're not coming back. No. Tulane ECU. I told you guys this one was going to be pretty simple for me. Tulane is way better in the trenches. Don't have the skill players to talk about. They don't have anybody that scares you in the skill player department, but they are way better in the trenches, and they're a really good coach team. Really good coach team. So I knew Tulane was going to win this game. I believed it wholeheartedly. ECU, while they look like a team that can throw the ball everywhere, I don't really believe in them like that. They're effectively running the ball, and they're doing it pretty well. The problem with ECU is they got a running back in Marlon Gunn who's not getting enough carries. He got 10 carries in this game, 52 yards. He's noticeably better than the transfer Jenkins from Houston. Noticeably better. And they're not giving him enough carries. I hope they start to give him carries. He's a north to south runner. But Retzlaff is the X factor for Tulane. Tulane had no quarterback coming into this season. They're going to play with Samanza, the Ball State transfer, the California kid. And now they have Retzlaff, and Retzlaff gives them a chance. He can run the rock too. Didn't run in these touchdowns here. Kind of frustrated me. But Tulane got it together, wins the game, and I'm impressed with it. Shout out to them. Okay, next game, Jacksonville State, Sam Houston. What a terrible showing by Jacksonville State. They had every opportunity to dominate this game. They were far and away the better team. Obviously didn't cover the spread. And they win it with a 52-yard field goal from this kid Ripa. But, man, they looked bad. They really did. Look, Jacksonville State has a great running back. Cam Cook is the most reliable running back in America. Now, he had his career high 218 yards in this game. What's really important is you understand he always gets at least 20 carries, maybe even 25 carries. He's always getting the rock every game. That's their offense. Now they got this other quarterback that came in. The kid who came off the bench. Well, he didn't come off the bench. He's starting instead of Wimsatt. I'm sorry, his name escapes me right now. Caden Creel. Caden Creel cannot throw this ball, really. But he's got a little Scott Frost to him. He does. He's got a little Scott Frost to him. Caden Creel can run around. 24 carries, 132 yards. I think this is your tandem right here. If you're looking for prop bettors, if you're out there and you're looking for rushing yards, now they're going to make you pay for these guys, but they can run all day. Now, it might be a little skewed because Sam Houston's defense is terrible. They are terrible. Hunter Watson played his ass off. He played better than you think. Alton McCaskill's back healthy. He played well this week. Landon Brown caught a pass for a touchdown. Or he didn't score a touchdown? My bad. I thought he caught a pass for a touchdown. He ran one in. My bad. It was fine. But Sam Houston's defense is gross. And they lose this game because Phil Longo is the worst coach ever. You know Phil Longo tried to call back-to-back timeouts? Phil Longo went out there and was this in overtime? Where no. Was he trying to go for 2 or something like that? It was something crazy. It was back-to-back timeouts. Oh, it was crazy. Maybe he was just clapping. Fucking Kirby Smart. Maybe he was just out there, hey. No, I was just clapping. No, they're clapping. No, I'm telling them they were clapping. Motherfucker, shut up, bro. You ain't gaslighting me. And then Southern Miss beats Georgia Southern. This is crazy, man. Southern Miss had this game in the bag, covering the spread and everything, and Georgia Southern scores 28 points in the second half. Absolutely absurd. Georgia Southern's soft. They are. They can be run over. Everybody has the blueprint. No Marcus Watson-Trent in the middle. He obviously transferred to Nebraska to be the linebacker, but Georgia Southern doesn't have a leader in the middle to, punish people. There's no enforcer out there. They need to find a linebacker. And in the state of Georgia, there's a lot of great high school teams and a lot of great linebackers. Just get a couple of them, bro. Don't just have one. Get a couple of them. You can find them. They're all playing at Lowndes. They're all playing at fucking Valdosta. They're playing at Stockbridge or something. I don't know, but I'm just letting you know that Georgia Southern gets run over. And that's what this is about. Pittman goes out there, 31 carries, 140 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And yes, Camden Brown still gets 12 receptions, 158 yards, and a touchdown. He's still going to get your numbers. J.C. French looks like he's doing it. They're not doing it, bro. They're getting run over. They're getting punched in the face. Real talk. Shout out to Southern Miss, by the way. Friday night's game. Hey, it was an undefeated North Texas team against South Florida. South Florida's an underdog. I tell you, we got South Florida money line. Listen to me, MVPs. If you took that prediction and you parlayed it with Colorado State and Washington, you are out of your fucking mind. Take the slam dunk, take the assessment straight across, and you'll be fine. I see so many bad beats on Friday night, and I just don't understand it. The amount of confidence in that particular game compared to everything else is crazy. I've got it multiple entries on the chart. If there's multiple places on the chart for it, that's the game I believe in. I can't do it for you. But I see guys like, man, Washington's going to ruin my night, man. Or, oh, man, Fresno really ruined my night. How did they ruin your night? You keep trying to get an entire slate right. Just fucking silly. You don't have the script. They're teenagers, and they're not going to show up to play. So South Florida, North Texas, what'd I say? South Florida, too stout on defense, too strong, and they're going to eventually win this game because of their athleticism on defense. I wasn't even worried about the offense. I know Byron Brown's going to run around, do his thing. It's all about this defense. Now, you're going to look at the score and go, Rico, they gave 36 points. Yeah, Vegas had them at 35.5. So North Texas did exactly what we thought they would. The 35 is fine. I was under 35.5. I was wrong. But South Florida, even with all the turnovers to start the game, they put it together. They keep scoring. They keep pouring it on. They're an elite team. South Florida's a top 25 team. North Texas is a feel-good story. North Texas is good. They got the right stuff going on, but North Texas reminds me of Moneyball. You guys ever see that movie, Moneyball, with Brad Pitt? Great movie. If you're into dialogue, if you're into movies. Moneyball, I'm sure it's on one of the streaming services. Moneyball is so amazing. But what you learn about Moneyball is you can find players that have the right metrics and the right statistics, and they can meet what you need, and it all makes sense. But until you get on the field and they actually have to perform in that one-off, like statistics are cool, analytics are great, but then we have to sit down and we have to just go, okay, is this guy a pro or is he not? Is he clutch? Does he have the clutch gene? Is he going to make the play when it really matters? And for whatever reason, the Yankees have that guy Judge that can go out and hit a 3-run home run to win the game when it really matters. And you've got Timo, right? You got Timu. You got generic players. You got the guys that can't really do it. And I'm saying that because Mestermaker is cool, man. Mestermaker is a good quarterback. He's fine. He looks the part. He's a feel-good guy. And then you start paying attention. You're like, wait, Mestermaker had no offers out of high school? Why? Because that motherfucker throws from his waist. Because he's doing some crazy shit. It's like if you see somebody bowling and they throw the ball weird. I'm not talking about that fancy spin and they know the oil on the lane. They just throw it really weird and they get a strike every time. So what if they hugged it with two hands and they granny rolled it down there and then it gets a strike? And this guy does that every single time, right? Well, he's not going to be on the pro tour. He's not on the pro circuit. He's not with them dudes with all them fancy gloves on because that shit isn't consistent enough, especially against the pros. You can't pick up a spare properly if you miss your strike. You get what I'm saying? So when it comes to Mestermaker, towards the second half, like in the second half, he's seeing ghosts. He's getting slammed around. He's throwing it just a little bit off. Just a little bit off. And you don't have the receivers to be just a little bit off. The receivers are good. They're not great. They're good. They're athletic. They're fast. And he keeps throwing to Coleman. Coleman's his high school teammate. They brought this guy in as a favor to make sure they get Coleman, who's really good. So you get Coleman, you bring his high school quarterback in, and he's good. He's not bad. He's not terrible. He's just not going to win you these games. He's going to beat Rice. He's going to beat Tulsa. He's not going to beat South Florida. Okay? Cool. Shout out to North Texas. Good team. Washington Rutgers. I wish I could have went more in depth on this, but I couldn't because my sportsbook doesn't give me all the prop bets on it. So I don't really go in depth on stuff that I don't have all the prop bets on. But I gave you my analysis. Rutgers defense is terrible. You can score on Rutgers defense. So I'm on Jonah Coleman to get 100 yards rushing in this game. What happens? Williams gets 136 yards rushing. Rutgers comes out is winning 10-0. Rico doesn't know what he's talking about. Yes, I do. Just relax. Slow down. Rutgers can be scored on. Rutgers can't stop anything. That's the reality of the situation. Teams are going to score. Believe in the over. Believe in the team total over from the other team. They're going to score more than you think. Shout out to Rutgers. Their offense is decent. They're able to score points, but it's nothing to write home about. Fresno State, Colorado State. E.J. Warner, the worst quarterback in the world. No, he's not the worst in the world. E.J. Warner's a walking turnover waiting to happen. And he didn't let us down in this game. He got some great turnovers. This is the Colorado State defense I expected to see the week before, and they laid an egg, and they looked terrible. And now I'm starting to realize it's just Jordan Napier so fast. And we're going to talk about that later with the San Diego State game. But Colorado State played out of their minds. I wish they would have did this the week prior, and that's the hit and miss from the weeks and just getting it right and getting it wrong. And Fresno State, you fucking bums, didn't even stay dedicated to the run. No Donaldson in here. You just start winging it with Warner. Warner can't do this, man. 49 attempts with E.J. Warner, you lost the game. If I see 49 attempts on E.J. Warner, you lost this fucking game because that's the worst player on your team, and you got him touching the ball every single play, and you're relying on his arm almost 50 times. It's not good. Shout out to Colorado State. By the way, welcome back, Justin Marshall. Welcome back to the spotlight. What a great running back. They've been playing Dupree. They've been ignoring Marshall, and then he goes out and plays great. Then Saturday's slate. Ohio State, known commodity. Told you it's a lock, guys. Shout out to you. I told you this is a lock. Ohio State consistently plays great defense. The only way Illinois is going to move this ball is throwing it, and you can't throw on that secondary. The windows are small. I feel fine. Give me Ohio State. Now, Julian saying he's not playing all that great. His receivers are great. His offensive line's amazing, but he takes forever to release this ball. he has to be in the pocket and see somebody wide open before he throws it. He's not doing anticipation passes at all. Why is that significant? Because if they play a better team with a better pass rush, he's going to get less time. They play against better corners. I'm describing Indiana right now. He doesn't play that great. It's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. Now, Indiana might struggle to score on them, but Ohio State's not putting up 34. And that's another thing. I told you Illinois is not putting up 24 points. It's not happening. Not happening. So here we are. Got it right. Shout out to us. Indiana. We never fade Indiana. They cover the spread. They beat Oregon. Fernando Mendoza can play against anyone. I was impressed. Elijah Surratt is the real issue here. He's the X factor. Surratt can't be stopped. Surratt needs some Heisman talk. Surratt's the guy. He's the one who's beating everybody one-on-one. He's the safety blanket, the one getting open, and Indiana eventually wins. They have superior coaching. They perform well. They're a team. They're a brotherhood. And then Oregon, they're hired mercenaries. They're Miami of last year. And the fact that Oregon lost this game isn't terrible. Oregon's still a top 5 team, top 10 team for sure. Oregon's still very, very good. And just they lost. Dante Moore did not play well. But we hit a bunch of props on this game. If you took them, if you believed in these teams, congratulations. Shout out to you. Indiana getting it done. I'm very proud of them. Good stuff. I've been on Indiana's bandwagon for 2 years. I'm the one driving that motherfucker. I didn't get on a bandwagon. Let me be clear. I assessed Indiana 2 years ago and said they're elite. And I've never stopped. Shout out to the MVPs. Ole Miss goes up to Washington State. Was it a road game? No. Washington State showed up into town. And Ole Miss probably didn't prepare for this game at all. I don't think they did. They played terrible in this game. They were trailing at one point. Washington State, unfortunately, didn't find a way to win. No one's going to talk about this. But this is bad. This is a really bad performance. And this is a terrible indicator for SEC football. It really is. Your best, this is what, the highest ranked SEC team? Is that right? I think this is the highest ranked SEC team. And they win by 3 points against a Washington State team who I've seen lose by 50. Yeah, that's terrible. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't care if you're playing conservative or not. It's terrible. Texas A&M, one of my top 3 teams in America. I've told you guys this over and over and over every single week. Texas A&M is elite. I believe in them. They cover the spread. I won't get off of it. Florida's good. Florida's got a stout defense. Florida's competitive. They're good. They're not great. They're not good enough to compete and do this thing. So I'm on Texas A&M. Big. I think Texas A&M's going to have a great year. I like everything Elko's doing. They're a good team. They got a lot of depth, man. They got so many guys that can rotate in and win the game. They're reliable. But it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me how good Texas A&M is. And now people are going to start talking about it because they're 6-0. I was talking about it before the season started. Oklahoma, Texas. Why is Texas not ranked? They just throttled Oklahoma. So now we're going to overcorrect and put Texas back in the top, 15? Look, Texas lost games because they weren't healthy. They didn't have Wisner that they could ride. They lost games because their quarterback sucks. I get it. But they're still one of the elite defenses out there. So fast, so mean. And they showed out. They played well. Talent chart had it right. I went ahead and took Oklahoma in this game because they were underdogs. I got it at plus 3.5. Way wrong. Did not get it done. Texas pours it on in the second half. Even had a punt return for a touchdown. Just athletes everywhere. And John Mateer, 3 interceptions. Welcome to John Mateer. Not welcoming John Mateer to the SEC. I'm welcoming all the SEC fans to seeing who John Mateer really is. The guy from Washington State who couldn't win big games. The guy who was absolutely terrible in the middle of the night some games. Like, John Mateer does not play good football. He's not a good decision maker, at least in my assessment. So, congratulations to Texas for winning, dominating this game. They looked good doing it. I'm sure they're excited. Still no Joseph Villalon. It's crazy. Alabama, Missouri. Missouri's one of the better teams in the SEC. They lost this game. Alabama didn't cover the spread, but Missouri's still very good. And what would Penn State give to have Bo Pribula right now? What would Penn State give? They give their left nut to have Bo Pribula. I mean that, man. Shout out to Alabama, though. I have Alabama running the table. I had Alabama going 12-0 to start the season. They lost the first game. I look like I don't know what I'm talking about. I think Alabama's running this joint. They're great. Alabama wins the game. They're dominant. They have the best pass in attack in America. I think Alabama's quarterback, Ty Simpson, is a Heisman Trophy caliber quarterback. He made a throw in this game that made me go, okay, he's number 1 on my draft board. And I'm not going to change it. No matter what happens, I'm not going to change it because I saw an NFL throw. I don't see NFL throws every Saturday. He did one, and it was an anticipation throw. He threw his man open before the break on 3rd and long. It's so impressive, dude. Everything about it. It's crazy. Ty Simpson, NFL, Heisman, all that shit. Shout out to Alabama. They're winning because of him. It's real. It's awesome. I think Jam Miller got hurt again, so pay attention to that. It's unfortunate. But Missouri's not a terrible team. They're 1-1 in the SEC. Missouri shouldn't fall far in the polls. As a matter of fact, this is more indicative of how good these two teams are. They played a very good game, competitive game. It wasn't terrible. And no Bush League shit. No fake refs calling fumbles when they weren't fumbles, who crossed the goal line and they didn't. None of that controversy bullshit. It's just good football. And I liked both those teams. Texas Tech, Kansas. I can't say it enough, but Texas Tech is the best team money can buy. They really are the best team that money can buy. Cameron Dickey rushes for 263 yards, 2 touchdowns. Do you remember the video I made on TikTok when I told you this is a 3-star player and I don't give a fuck what they're talking about? I think this is a very good player. I have the video. It's posted on TikTok. It's there for the whole world to see. I got messages. I got DMs on multiple platforms about this. Rico, you called this. No, man. It's just how bad is Kansas defense? They're going to give up points for days. And Texas Tech is elite. Stop saying Texas Tech is good. Stop saying Texas Tech is they're good for a Big 12 team, like all that shit. No. They're elite. Watch the tape. They're playing fucking lights out football. They really are. Incredible stuff. From the beginning of the game to the end of the game. You don't score 32 points in the first and fourth quarter. You don't do it without being elite. They showed up top to bottom. And Kansas, no real receivers that I'm excited about. Their leading receiver in this game was their tight end. They threw it to him 13 times. Those receivers can't get open. Now, Cam Pickett had a decent game, but it's not real. And their star player, Emmanuel Henderson, he fumbled in this game. Yeah, I'm rocking with Texas Tech all day. Texas Tech is great. Definite top 10 team. Speaking of top 10, there's Georgia. Georgia wins the game. They beat Auburn. Bunch of bullshit going on in this game. Bunch of fucking Bush League shit. Oh, my God, it's gross. Don't care. I picked Georgia to win. I knew they would. I had them covering the spread. It was a lock for me. I just think Georgia's better than Auburn everywhere. They just got to go out and do it. Gunnar Stockton is concerning for me. Stop throwing it so damn much. Give me some screens. Get the ball to your playmakers and let them get you some yak. There's no need to be stretching the field the way you are. It's not your identity. It's not who you are. Gunnar, run it in. Be tough in the trenches. Do what you do. But that's about it, man. Shout out to them. Auburn, they're trying. They are. And I know they're 0-3 in the SEC. Everybody's going to call for Hugh Freeze to be fired. But they haven't really lost any games where I'm shocked they lost. They really haven't. Nope. Not like Penn State. They're both 0-3 in conference play, but Penn State has lost games that that you got to fire everybody. You got to burn the house down. And here it's just like, they played well. Shout out to them. They played well enough. They were competitive and physical. They were, but Eric Singleton got shut down. It was a bad night for Auburn. Bad night. Shout out to Georgia's defense. Look at these low-scoring games in Georgia. And it's going to have to be low-scoring because their offense isn't consistent enough to score a whole lot. So they just got to keep playing. You just got to keep playing. It's going to be rough, bro. Oh, it reminds me of a dull knife. The other day, Kim and I, we went and got steak here in the, we live in a country club. There was a grill. There's a grill here in the country club, like a restaurant. But they were having a fancy entree night where they were serving premium meals is what it was called. And so everybody did the RSVP thing, and we go there to support this grill. We do this thing. We do this all the time, all the residents. And we went in there, and we sat down at our table, and they gave us the most amazing meal. But they gave us butter knives. And I looked at the waitstaff. The waitstaff was all new. It was just people filling in for the night because it was busy that night. And I looked at one of the young girls, and I'm thinking, does she know you can't cut a steak with a butter knife? You just can't. It's a lot of work, and I got this. I'm doing it. But we got elderly people in this. I'm the youngest person in this country club. Everybody else is super elderly. They were trying to cut into that steak, and they just quit, and they had to call somebody and go be like, "Where's the steak knife?" Damn waitresses didn't even know what we were talking about because they're kids. They've never eaten at a steakhouse. They don't know what they're talking about. It's crazy. They had to go round up some steak knives and find them and help these old people out. We were just sitting there like, man, that's terrible. That's Georgia, bro. They're trying to cut through the SEC with a butter knife. You need a steak knife. You need real shit. You need teeth. You need grit. It's going to be tough for Georgia. I hope they get through it. But for me, Georgia's like one of the fourth best teams in the SEC. They really are. They're like the fourth best team in the SEC if I'm looking at it. A&M, Alabama, Missouri. Yeah, they're there with them. Georgia. I don't want to say. I don't even want to mention Florida. But it's just Texas, Oklahoma. Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough sledding. Georgia's not there. They're just not there. Shout out to them. Before I get into LSU and South Carolina, I'm going to jump over to the chat one time. I don't know how much chat we have. If you're watching on TikTok, move over to YouTube. You write in the comments. I'll answer your questions. I'm not reading anything up here. They don't pay me, but YouTube does. So I'm going to move over to the chat real quick. There shouldn't be much, and we'll get back to the results. Shout out to you guys. Boom. Oh, there is. Let me interact with this real quick. Sorry about that, guys. How do I interact? What am I doing wrong? Oh, I know what I'm doing wrong. There we go. I'm a one-man show, bro. I'm a one-man show. First and foremost, Mike. Mike, if you guys don't know Mike is a regular on the show. He is a Nebraska homer. Shout out to him. He says, I knew Coach Mike Eckler, special teams, and John Butler would be a game changer for Nebraska. It might have been ugly. It might have been an ugly win, but it's the best win in a couple years. Yeah, no. Don't agree at all. I think your quarterback threw 3 interceptions. It was fucking Maryland, bro. This is not one of the best wins, biggest wins in a couple years. No, the win over Cincinnati was more impressive in week 1, and that was 20-17. No, this is not good. No, Mike. No, and no, and no. Stop it. It's silly. Willie Bobo, good morning. What up, Willie? Willie, what are you doing? Nothing. I'm just doing the Willie. Willie Bobo is a USC fan. He's from Southern California. He's a diehard USC fan, diehard Cowboys fan. So shout out to him. He says, not this year for modern day. He also watches a lot of high school football. Shout out to him. Mike is saying, ESPN experts suck. They get worse every season. So it's not that they get worse. They just get more players. ESPN only hires ex-players. They want talking heads. They want mouthpieces. And the credibility with the young fan today is hire somebody who used to run fast when he was a teenager or a young man. Like, I don't understand it. I don't get it. Their perspective is wrong. Their assessment is even more wrong. These ex-players don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. Just listening to them talk the game, they were the guy who was on the team that was just faster than everybody and good enough to play and didn't really pay attention to the details of the game. I believe that, at least from what I can see. If you had ex-coaches, I might understand it. But I trust analysts and journalists far more than what these guys are doing. They just got ex-players. Hey, Pac-Man, we're getting Adam Pac-Man Jones podcast. Fuck for. You know, their recipe for success is terrible, bro. You ever seen the MMA show? Ryan Clark does an MMA show with Daniel Cormier. What does Ryan Clark know about MMA? Absolutely fucking nothing. He's not, I think this guy's a really good body. He sounds like Stephen A. Smith talking MMA. This brother right here could throw some combos and do some things. And shut up. You got the contract to cover the UFC. So then you brought in people to start talking UFC. But before that, it was on FS1 and none of you talked to MMA. It's like when ESPN had nobody to talk about hockey because they didn't have the hockey contract. So then they go and get Barry Melrose. Rest in peace. But that's a hockey guy. I don't want to see anybody else talking hockey. But it depends on who that gets the contracts, man. Just wait. Wait for the DEI hires. Wait till we get the female softball players talking baseball. Because we got to have women in there. We got to have black women who think Barry Sanders jerseys are fucking Shedeur Sanders jerseys. They hire all the wrong people. Loud and wrong. Freak Iron. Fucking idiots. Shout out to you guys, man. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. Let's see here. The Big 12 all suck now. Up for anyone. Mike, that is absurd. That is absolutely absurd. The Big 12 is not up for anyone. Some teams get injured. Arizona State is still an elite team, but they had no quarterback. They got injured. Texas Tech is undefeated and in the top 10. What do you mean it's up for anyone? Who's anyone? Iowa State gets injured. They lose their entire secondary. Now they've lost 2 weeks in a row. I've actually predicted it 2 weeks in a row. Who's anyone? It's not up for anyone. West Virginia's not winning the Big 12. Iowa State's not winning the Big 12. Arizona State's not winning. Injuries happen, and you don't have the talent to compete with the elite teams in the Big 12. What are we talking about? Up for anyone. That is a false statement all the way around. I didn't want to talk to you about it. That is absolutely ridiculous. It's embarrassing you said that. Good morning. What up? Anthony Raimundo Barron. Shout out to this guy, man. He retweets all my stuff. This guy pays attention to what I'm saying. I appreciate you for being a fan. Shout out to you. Willie Bobo says, I'm enjoying my coffee and listening to the show, Rico. Hey, shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. Shout out to Ash and Kim. He spelled Ash's name correctly, A-S-H-E. And Kim, the wonderful Mrs. Kim Jones, she is downstairs, probably cooking up some breakfast. Maybe. I don't know. I heard her vacuuming earlier. Kim's doing that MVP shit, if you know what I'm saying. She's the real MVP. David in Arizona says, good morning, Rico. Thoughts on Noah Fafita anytime touchdown? Are you talking about next week? And next week, I haven't assessed who they're even playing. I haven't assessed anything. But I would tell you that Noah Fafita is that type of dude to tuck one and run it in near the end zone. It's there. I don't know what the odds are. I don't know anything like that. I'll definitely talk about it in private with the MVPs. Rico, appreciate the wealth of plays you come up with every week. Gives us MVPs lots of opportunities to cash out. Thank you. Shout out to Derek Newcomer. He is an MVP. And yeah, I come up with a lot of different ideas that could potentially make you some money. You got to pick the right ones, but they're all there. We try our best. I try to provide some type of play or something I would do for a particular game, every game, whether it be an alternate spread, an alternate over-under, or picking against the spread, the money line, something of value. Give you an example. There was a game yesterday. I didn't even know who's going to win the game or what's going to happen, but I was like, yo, 10 rushing yards. Oh, it was Texas, Oklahoma. I said 10 rushing yards for Archman, and he got his 10. And give me that Parker Livingston. He's going to get at least 20 receiving yards. You put those two together, you flip a unit, and it happened. And I'm just like, yeah, that's just how I feel. I don't know about the spread of the game. I wouldn't bet this. I wouldn't bet that. It's on the chart. That doesn't matter. Those aren't my bets. Those are just picks, right? Picks versus bets, two different things. So when I look for a bet, I go look for something like that. And I'm cheering for the smallest little thing. I'm cheering for a backup running back to get 20 yards sometimes. It's just analysis and me trusting consistency and things like that. So shout out to you. Thank you for rocking with me, Derek. I appreciate you. Some MVPs rock. What up, Willie Bobo? Rico, thoughts on USC? I'm going to get to them in a little bit. Texas. Joseph Villalon's here. Joseph Villalon, we thought you were missing, bro. We sent out a search party. You guys got your ass kicked last week by Florida in the swamp, and we thought you had a helicopter crash or something. You and McConaughey were missing, bro. Joseph Villalon, I wrote to you on the Discord server looking for you, man. I'm serious. We were worried about you. Sent out a search party and everything. Couldn't find you on your 200-acre ranch. Thought you fell in a hole. You were in a lost mine shaft. Fuck out of here, Joseph Villalon. You only want to show up when Texas wins? Show up when they lose. If you're a real man about some shit, show up when they lose, bro. This ain't it right here. You ever disappointed a woman on a one-night stand? You ever bust a little too early? You met a girl on a one-night stand and you disappointed that girl? It's happened. Call her the next day. Show up at her door with flowers. Show up when you lose, buddy. It's craziness. That guy. I look good in small and medium. What up, Willie Bobo? Willie Bobo wants a small medium shirt. Shout out to him. Mike says, Ohio State or USC, be another Big Ten either way again. Big Ten is the future. Pretty sure that's true, but Ohio State or USC? Are you ignoring Indiana? Is that what we're doing around? Are you still ignoring Indiana, Mike? Do they got to beat Illinois by 50? Ohio State could never do that. Ohio State could never do that. We just saw it happen. RTR, roll, tide, roll. Shout out to Lewis Henton, Alabama homer. I watched the entire Texas Tech-Kansas game. That defense was incredibly fast to the ball everywhere. Coaches, shout out to my boy Coaches. You're so right, man. You're so right. They got everything they need. They're mean. They're aggressive. Linebackers are out of this world. Defensive lineman has depth, rotates, and they just beat up offensive lines. I think Texas Tech is elite. Yeah, they spent their money right. Shout out to Joseph Villalon laughing at himself. Ever since I started to listen to you, Rico, I stopped doing these huge lists of picks. Now I do 2 or 3 maybe, and it hits. Yeah. Yeah, that's how it's done, bro. Stop trying to hit everything at the club, bro. Just pick one. Wifey that one. Woo. What a great weekend of college football. A great week for the Miami Hurricanes. They didn't even play. Best week ever for Miami Hurricanes. Maryland, biggest win in years. The biggest win in years is what he said for Nebraska. That's real. All right, let me get back to the results here. You guys are hilarious in the chat. Shout out to TikTok. Move over to YouTube. Drop a comment. We will get to you. I promise. LSU beat South Carolina 20-10. Real simple. Made this call. Picked it against the spread. Shout out to LSU. Their defense is utterly elite. South Carolina is in for a very long season. Very long season for South Carolina. I think I have South Carolina winning 3 games this year. No, 5-7. Excuse me. Have them going 5-7. This was one of the losses I had on them. They just have babies. They have babies in the trenches, undeveloped young men, probably really good recruits. They're just not there to compete with these grown men from the other teams. It's the reality of the situation. Shout out to them. They got Green involved. I'm a big Green guy, the tight end for LSU. I just wish they would have been using him all season long so I look like a prophet. Instead, he finally shows up week 7. It is what it is. But shout out to LSU for getting it done. If you score 2 touchdowns, LSU, I think you're winning the game. Yeah, because the other teams can't do that against you. Now, we get to Tennessee and Arkansas. You know what's weird in this game? Tennessee did not have a kickoff return or a punt return the entire game. It was, and Arkansas only punted twice. Arkansas comes out, covers the spread with some last-minute touchdowns. That kind of sucks. But Tennessee still wins the game. Shout out to Tennessee. They're starting to believe in Bishop and their running back. Let's phase out Star Thomas's slow ass. Let's do that, number 1. So start giving Bishop more carries. He is the more dynamic runner. He is the future. He's the guy that's going to be here. Star Thomas, this is his last year anyways. Tennessee's a good team. They're finding ways to win. They're not elite. They don't have anybody that really scares me. Brazel was shut down in this game. 1 reception, nothing big. And Joey Aguilar was not consistent enough. On the other side, Arkansas can score points. And they're going to keep scoring points. I mean, they're really hard to deal with. They can't stop anything, but they can score points. It's a problem because they're going to cover spreads. Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech. I chose Virginia Tech to cover this spread. I thought they would keep scoring. They did not. They did cover the alternate spread. I think maybe might not have. It was a 17.5 or 14. We probably missed. But it comes down to Georgia Tech scoring the last-second touchdown at the end of the game. That's what it really came down to. Hosley, please take over this running back room. Hosley's so good. I like that kid a lot. Number 0 for Georgia Tech. Man, he can just take over the game and run all day long. I like him better than Jamal Haynes. I do. And he did his thing. Haynes King still rushed for like 100 yards, I think, in this game. Haynes King is so good. Haynes King is dominant, doing his thing. Virginia Tech not playing bad football for a team that lost their coach. They don't look like Penn State. They don't look like they're quitting on the field every single day. Like UCLA is the gold standard for how to play after losing your coach. Virginia Tech's right there. They're doing just fine. Next game was USC, Michigan. I picked Michigan, but it was just talent chart driven. It wasn't anything I was too confident in. It was in the coin flip column. I left it like that. USC, we have to understand what's going on here. USC has this quarterback from, where's he from? Calabasas? Or I'm sorry, running back from Calabasas, King Miller. I go look him up. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, who is this guy? He's a walk-on. Shows up and rushes all over Michigan? You have to give a lot of credit to the offensive line for USC. You have to. They're playing out of their mind. USC has skill players for days, and they're going to be able to stretch the ball. And then Michigan just doesn't have the skill players to compete and keep up. Why is USC not ranked if they're 5-1? They got 1 loss against Illinois. Why are they not ranked? They're going to be ranked. By the end of today, they're going to be ranked. USC played great. They look great. They played great. It's unfortunate when they don't show up to play, but man, they played great in this one. And Michigan had no answer. This game was never, to me, it was never competitive. It was a no sweat for Michigan to never, they were never in this game. I don't even know if you can rank Michigan after this. I really don't. They're going to because they were 15th, but you start paying attention to Michigan, I don't know if you can rank them. I'm just saying. Notre Dame. I've been telling you guys over and over and over again. Notre Dame has an elite defense. They're one of the best teams in America, and it just so happens they played Miami and Texas A&M. It just so happens to play Miami and take Notre Dame is a top 10 team in America. They just played 2 of the top 5 teams, and they lost by 2 points. Like, that's crazy. This is a great team, and they're hitting on all cylinders. The only question mark here is Carr, but I still think Carr's great. Quarterback. Yeah, I still think he's a good player. He's got a great wide receiver room. And Jeremiah Love is known goods. It's good to go. We hit on a couple prop bets for him. 2 touchdowns, first half touchdown, all that stuff. Notre Dame looked the part. NC State absolutely got crushed. And it sucks because they were going to cover the alternate spread, but Notre Dame scored again and again and again in the fourth quarter, so that hurt. BYU finds a way to win in double overtime against Arizona. I was in bed watching this game, laying down for the night, calling it a night. What did I see in this game? I'm convinced Arizona has some really good defensive back play. I'm convinced Arizona has really good defensive back play. They play well, man. Arizona's playing really good. They're on the verge of being ranked. They're a good team. Couldn't beat BYU. BYU's undefeated. BYU's overachieving. BYU has no offense whatsoever. No real reliable offense. It's Bear Bachmeier tucking it and running it. Bear Bachmeier tucking it and running it, even in overtime. Tucking it, running, even like they hurdle the guy. They're doing it, but that's all it is. It's a quarterback draw. Just let that house of a man. He's a fullback. Fullback who can throw. There was a guy like that. What was his name? His name was like Jensen or something. Mark Jensen? Jensen. He was a Dolphins player in 89. I remember I had his football card, and it said he had played tight end, running back, fullback, quarterback, punter, linebacker, defensive man. He had played everything. He was just borderline NFL in every single position group. That's what Bear Bachmeier feels like. He feels like a borderline quarterback / running back / fullback, H-back. He's Taysom Hill. He's something. And he's getting first downs. And when the game's on the line, they're just going to call his number. BYU is hard to cheer for, but we got it done. I picked BYU to win this game, picked them against the spread, all that stuff. But it was tough. It was tough. And I didn't feel good about it for a little while there. I really didn't, especially at halftime. I did not feel bad. I thought they were selling in this game. They were down by 7 at one point, and I was like, man, they just don't want it. They just don't want it. And then they wanted it, and then they got it. Shout out to them. Speaking of don't want it, fucking Arizona State, bro. You know what's crazy about this game? I told the MVPs I'm not going to flip because I didn't want to flip my pick late in the week. Obviously, the answer here is flip to Utah to win the game. You find out Arizona State's going with a backup quarterback and Jake Sims. We know Jeff Sims. We've seen him years. And you know what's really crazy is Arizona State outcoached themselves in this game in the most embarrassing fashion. Arizona State, you get a backup quarterback in this game, and I should have been going through all these box scores. That's on me. I apologize, guys. But Arizona State, Jeff Sims, you go and run him 21 times? He's not your best player. Why is your whole offense going through Jeff Sims? What is this? This is a guy you know can't play football. You let him throw it 38 times, and he runs it 21 times. That's 59 plays of Jeff Sims show. You showed up to this game and said it's the Jeff Sims show. Why couldn't Raleek Brown get another 10 carries? What are we doing? And then we get in the red zone and you hand it off to Jordan Tyson so he gets a touchdown. What is this? 38 attempts, 124. This is silly. Terrible play calling. And I had this game dialed in. I knew it. Devin Dampier, under 200 yards passing. I was on it. Devin Dampier, over 40 yards rushing. I was on it. Ryan Davis, over 40 yards receiving. I was on. These are all the prop bets I put out there. I hit on everything. I knew this game inside and out. I did not understand this right here. The decision-making from Kenny Dillingham to go out there and play Jeff Sims the way they did. I did not understand that at all. Excuse me as I close some of these box scores. I think I talked about everything I want to talk about in these games. So that's on me for not going through them to highlight certain players. I meant to do that. I'm not going to go back on them. But that bugged me, man. Just watching it. And now you're not going to be ranked. You lose the game. There's no reason to rank you. But that's silly. That's just dumb. Jeff Sims comes off the bench. I understand you got to go in the game and play a backup quarterback. You don't got to give him every single play. That's weird. That's just not good. Not good at all. By the way, In this game, the backups came in again. Bird Ficklin, Daniel Bray. They always play lights out. Every time they get a chance to play, the future's bright at Utah. It is Bird Ficklin and Daniel Bray. They always get a chance to play, and they play lights out every time, just so you're aware. All right? Next game, Iowa State, Colorado. I predicted the fuck out of this game as well. Caden Salter, over 1.5 touchdowns passing. I knew that was going to happen. We got it done. I predicted Colorado to win the game. They were 5.5-point underdogs at the beginning of the week. I knew they were going to cover the spread. Just Colorado's ability to move the ball is going to be through passing. Iowa State has no secondary. They lost their best players for the year. They're done. And then you look at Iowa State and you start looking and you go, okay, how are they going to move this ball? It's just two tight ends. It's Benjamin Brahmer and Gabe Burkle. It's just two tight ends and nothing else. The running backs suck. I don't care what Abu Sama did in this game. I don't care. It's these two guys that are moving the ball for them and nothing else. And that's not good enough to win games. So I took Colorado, and I was right. Shout out to Colorado. Colorado's not great. Storming the field after beating Iowa State, that's fucking embarrassing, bro. Got to celebrate your wins, but you're 3-4. You stormed the field after beating a team that just lost last week. It's your first Big 12 win. I know Big 12 wins are hard to come by for Colorado. I know they're not used to getting conference wins, but that's embarrassing. No need to storm the field. Fucking act right. Speaking of act right, what up, MVPs? I don't know how to act with this one, bruh. Pitt against Florida State. If you saw the video, I made the video. I told you guys, hey, man, I'm moving Pitt to the locks column. Pitt's a lock. Everybody's going, what the fuck is Rico talking about? They're injured. They got no defensive ends. They got no this. I heard this. I heard they're 10-point under. I don't give a fuck. Talent chart, bro. I created a talent chart. I assess teams for a living. I sat there and said, Pittsburgh's doing this. And said it with my whole chest. Put it in 4K, told all the MVPs, highlighted it yellow, moved it to the locks column. Not just this game, but I also moved the Kent State UMass game to the locks column. And wait till I talk about that, because Boz was out there. We got to do, I think it's Boz, right? Boz on the Discord channel. One of the MVPs. That motherfucker said, Rico, I got 100 units on Kent State. That's hilarious. We'll get to that. But, man, Pittsburgh doing their thing. Coming out here, I told you, if Desmond Reed's playing in this game, Desmond Reed is too dynamic for Florida State. He's too fast. Desmond Reed is fast as hell. He can beat these guys. Desmond Reed's from Florida. He's got Florida speed. He's faster than all these dudes. Danzy might be faster on the track. I don't give a fuck about that. We're talking about this here. And if we're really talking about Florida State, one of these touchdowns, Thomas Castellanos just panics and throws it to the end zone just as big as hell. Like, just the luckiest play of all time. That's how they're scoring. Just straight luck. They're not doing it consistently. We got a freshman out here in Mason Hintshell. Fucking dude is nice, bro. He's nice. Going to leave Eli Holstein in the transfer portal after this season. Eli Holstein is leaving. He'll be a starting quarterback somewhere. Shout out to West Virginia. Shout out to whoever wants to sign that kid, Eli Holstein. Go and play for Louisiana. Please, they need you down south. Louisiana, the Raging Cajun. You won't lose your starting job. But this is bad. This is bad. The fact that Florida State couldn't stop this little dude. Oh, man, it was beautiful. Oh, it was so beautiful. Oof. Kyle Lewis is him. The NFL doesn't want Kyle Lewis. That's cool. He's a hell of a fucking linebacker. Rico, how good is he? I gave him a 10. I gave him a 10 in my ratings. On the other side, Florida State, 0-3 in the ACC. 0-3 in the ACC. You know what's saving these guys? The fact that they beat Alabama. That's it. All these guys should be fired. I did a Twitter post. I'm going to show it to you guys. I can pull it up fairly quickly. Let me go pull this up. On Florida State. I did a post on Florida. I've talked about this in the past. I saw people trying, not stealing the take, but people repeating it and not giving me any praise. Let me get this right now. Let me pull this up for you guys. Here it is. So somebody was talking, this guy was saying First loss to an FCS program, right? They lost a game to an FCS program. This is about Florida State. First loss to Duke in program history. Worst bowl loss in program history. Worst single season record in program history. That was last year. 8 straight losses in conference play now. How much more do we need before we pull the plug? They're talking about Florida State. And I said, you should study how Florida State and staff evaluate quarterbacks out of high school. Mike Norvell and company are terrible at quarterback evaluations. Absolutely terrible. Everybody always goes, well, what about Jordan Travis? Yeah, Jordan Travis was 6 years ago. They got him in the transfer portal. Number one, they didn't even evaluate him out of high school. They got him in the transfer portal 6 years ago. And then they got 12 other quarterbacks since then. 12. Chubba Purdy, Tate Rodemaker, Mackenzie Milton, A.J. Duffy, Geno English, Brock Glenn, DJ Ungalele, Luke Kromenhoek, Thomas Castellanos, Kevin Sperry, Michael Grant, Jalen King. They've hit on one quarterback prospect in the last 13. This is how you get fired. Mike Norvell's problem is he hasn't found his Seth Hennigan. He hasn't found his great quarterback. You have one guy that can hide all the boo-boos, hide all the misses for 4 years, and then he's gone. And now you can't hide. This is what they're doing wrong. They're misevaluating talent everywhere. And then let's not get into how they're developing it, how they're performing on Saturdays, all that stuff. But they're misevaluating talent. That's what I talk about on the Twitter. Shout out to them. Next game, misevaluating talent. Look at UCLA, bro. UCLA. They're telling me some kid named Neuheisel, Rick Neuheisel's son, coaching the shit out of these boys, man. They showed up and smashed Michigan State. This is a terrible way to go. Michigan State 0-3 in Big Ten play. That's rough. That's rough. And this just proves that UCLA, they can run. Hey, they're 2-1 in the Big Ten. They can go on a run here. They look awesome. I don't know what's going on, bro. This is backwards. I'm not going to believe in UCLA, but they did it again. They're playing inspired football. They're hitting on all cylinders. They look like they want to. And this is crazy because I know Deshaun Foster is staring in disbelief at UCLA. Let me give you guys a true story here. Just last week, Kim wanted a new battery for the lawnmower. She wanted a bigger one. We have that Ego lawnmower thingy. We have a 7.5 amp battery, a 5.0, and then we have a couple 2.5s. But we need one for the blower, the weed eater, and the lawnmower, and we have a huge yard. So it takes a while to cut it. I should hire gardeners. We should have a riding lawnmower, all this. Kim likes cutting the grass. She likes to just walk with her lawnmower, and she just likes to spend 2-3 hours cutting the grass on a day. Should do that once a week just to get out of the house, be in the sun, and she likes to be active. That's Kim. So she says, hey, babe, I need a new battery. Can you get me a new battery? So I go to Lowe's to get her a new battery. We're there. They don't have any batteries in the store, the 7.5s. They're $499 a piece. They got the 5.0s. 5.0 doesn't last long enough. We already have one of those. We're good. I need a 7.5. He goes, all right, well, we'll order it and send it to your house. I said, sweet, bro. So we go to the counter to order it. He pulls it up in the computer, and he goes, do you want to apply your military discount? As a retired military member, you get a discount. I said, cool, man. Yeah, I'm in your system. He goes, can I get your phone number? So he puts in the phone number. Boom, it pops up. And it says, Caroline Rico. My ex-wife has been using my military discount at Lowe's to buy shit. Now, she's Mrs. Lowe's. She always shops at Lowe's. And I can see her address. And I can see where she lives. I can see where she's sending stuff and getting it mailed to her house. It's Huntsville, Alabama. So I'm going to start posting videos. And I'm going to do hashtag Huntsville, Alabama until she starts seeing my videos. I want her to see every vacation, every major purchase. I want her to see what I've done since that bitch left. I want her to see how great we are. That's how petty we're going to be. And she's got to watch it, bro. And she's going to stare at it in disbelief, sick to the stomach, how close she was to being great. Let's be very clear. Fucking a mile away from being great. But I bet not in her wildest dreams could she imagine the life I'm living right now. I bet not in her wildest dreams could she imagine the success I have. And that was 3 years ago. 4 years ago. I'm going to keep tagging that city until she sees it. Promise you that. We were eating at this Mediterranean restaurant last week, 2 weeks ago, Kim and I. It's a Turkish spot. It's a really nice place. I love the food there. We were eating there. Her boss walked in. Kim's like, why are we sitting here? We're sitting here and we're eating till her boss sees me. And then he's going to see me get in my 6-figure car and drive away. But she needs to know. They're going to see me and say, oh my God, Rico's eating at this fancy restaurant and he drove away. I want them all to know. Because I'm going to be as petty as a mother. I'll be as petty as you want me to be. You got to see me, and I want it to bother you. Because it motivated me. Because when I thought about quitting, I thought about proving your ass wrong. And that's the way UCLA is right now. UCLA is motivated. And it doesn't matter where Deshaun Foster goes, what he tries to do, he has to read about it. I hope he's watching this video. And he has to hear about it. Because you ruined a lot of young men's college experience. You ruined a lot of people's lives with your terrible work ethic, with your inability to get results. You set a lot of those kids back. And you might have did it in the best interest. You might, in your mind, you might have said, oh, I was doing all the right things. Yeah, that's cool, bro. That's cool. You got to watch the success in 4K with the world watching. And every win that UCLA gets, people go to Twitter and they write and they say, how bad was Deshaun Foster? Man, Deshaun Foster had to be the worst coach in America. Same shit I'm saying. Worst wife of all time. Piece of shit person. Trying to use a military discount from Lowe's that you don't even earn. You ain't served a day in your life, bitch. Like, I can't stand you right now. And Kim's the real MVP. Shout out to UCLA. Getting it done. Looks impressive. Nico's playing good ball. Michigan State, trash. Almost as trash as my ex-wife. Real talk. I'm going to jump to the chat, and we'll get back to these other games here. Thank you for watching. If you're watching on TikTok right now, move over to YouTube. Drop a comment. We'll get to you. Promise. Shout out to you for saying savage, but I don't read that shit. Get over here, bro. Shout out to you guys. Let me get to the questions. I got 21 questions. Are you my soulmate? If so, girl, you a blessing. Let's go. Where did we leave off? Did this guy write? We got all that. We got all that. We got all that. Oh, there are no new comments, really. Ever since, yep, we saw that. Got to give it up to Road Rash Face. Arkansas may not win, but goddamn, they will score points. Damn, Myron Kid. Road Rash Face? I don't know who Road Rash Face is. I don't know who that is. Blake Kenny says, what up, Rico? Bro, you don't want to know what's up. You can't see me under this desk. Anyways, shout out to you guys. All right, I'll get back to the results. Next game, SMU, Stanford. Stanford's a little better than we think. They didn't get this done because SMU scored an extra touchdown at the end. That really sucked. So SMU covers the spread, and I miss. One thing that you want to know about this game, I want to point it out to you guys, is Chris Johnson Jr. No relation to Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson Jr. here, 5 carries, 96 yards, and a touchdown. Broke for 87 yards. You guys need to know how fast that kid is. He's one of the fastest guys out there. If you go back and you do this, you go, RicoKnows Chris Johnson. There it is. Boom. And you search. If you do that little semicolon, you can find all the posts that I've made with Chris Johnson in it. And if you go in here and you look, Well, I don't know. It's just showing you a bunch of Chris's. I'm looking for mine. What's going on? Let's go to latest. Chris Johnson Jr., SMU running back. This was back in June. I said, is there a faster running back in America? Back in June, I said this. In the summer, I was watching his huddle highlights. I think that kid's amazingly fast. I think he's incredible. No relation to C2K, Chris Johnson. I talked about this kid back in June. I think he's special. I hope they give him more carries. I hope he gets more playing time. That dude is nice. Shout out to him. Kevin Jennings didn't let me down. I told you, believe in him. 200 yards passing. Got it done. Shout out to SMU. They're a good team. Hard to throw on, and Stanford's underwhelming. Undefeated in ACC play. They're 4-2. Why is Michigan ranked 15 and SMU is not ranked? That's a good example of 2 4-2 teams. SMU not being ranked and Michigan is. Silly. Here's another unranked team. Cincinnati, 5-1. How is Michigan ranked ahead of Cincinnati? Why? Cincinnati plays out of the fucking mind, bro. Cincinnati dominates everything. Their defense is stout. Talked about it with the MVPs. I believe their defense is going to be real. And unfortunately for UCF, they started Cam Fancher in this game. We know Cam Fancher. Cam Fancher runs around with a chicken with his head cut off. And if you're UCF and you wanted your whole offense to go through Cam Fancher, congrats. You did it. 49 attempts. It looks like the Arizona State recipe. This is not a recipe for success. You go and bring in Cam Fancher. You let him rush for 100 yards. He can run everywhere. He does. He runs around. Makes terrible decisions. I don't know how you give a guy who wasn't your starting quarterback. He was injured, and then we played somebody else, and we played somebody else. Okay, got it. Taven Jackson's playing decent, all this stuff. This guy gets 69 plays to his name. 69. Oh, my God, he said 6'7". He said 6'9". Fucking children. Grow up. 69 is not something adults should be doing. Get that out of my face. No, I'm joking. Listen, man. Sorsby is good for his rushing yards every week. Sorsby can run. He's always going to get his 30 that we're looking for. We call it 30 for 30. The only thing I'm worried about is Evan Pryor keeps getting more carries, and they keep sneaking him in here until Wee Walker's falling out of favor. I don't like that. 30 for 30 is good. Sorsby, Walker. Oh, the Joe Royer. I told you his over yards are real, and he did it. The books had him at 29.5. I said it's going to take him two receptions. Yeah, he's going to get there. We got it. Shout out to us. Maybe 28.5, but it didn't matter. He did 83 yards receiving. This team's good, man. They're not flashy. They don't have too much. They got just enough. Cincinnati, 3-0 in Big 12 play, 5-1 overall. Should be ranked. Let's rank Cincinnati. Come on, guys. Let's rank Cincinnati. Houston, 5-1. Houston has one loss. It's Texas Tech. They beat Oklahoma State. Everybody's laughing. Oklahoma State started a wide receiver at quarterback. No, man, Sam Jackson's fine. He's better than whatever else they got. I know that. Sam Jackson's fine. They went down and scored first drive. Thought they would punt. They didn't punt. They scored. It's fine. It's cool. Not much else to them. Not much else to this team. Nobody else worth talking about. It's unfortunate. Houston. Just a good old-fashioned white boys. Just some good old-fashioned white boys. Connor Wegman at quarterback. Can run, can throw. Yes, he had -3 yards rushing in his game, but he really can run. Dean Connors, white dude, can do his thing. Tanner Koziel, that dude's a professional tight end. Amari Thomas showed up to play in this game. Thank goodness. The UAB transfer, he's so good. So good. I wish they would throw it to him more. He's not white. Wish they would throw it to him more. Stud. Houston played well. They got the game. I mean, it was no doubt they're going to win. It was RicoKnows' best plays. But no doubt they were going to win. What up, JMU? All the doubt in the world JMU was going to win this game. They're losing at halftime. Sleepwalking. They're losing to a dude named Lunch. His name is Lunch Winfield. And they're not beating Lunch Winfield. JMU's busted ass, bro. And it's crazy because you got to pick between JMU and ODU. They both took this week off. Neither one of them covered the spread because they were both looking forward. Oh, no, wait. Am I tripping? No, they're playing each other. Yeah, they're playing each other next week. This is fucking crazy, bro. Landon Ellis played great. Landon Ellis was the only guy who showed up to win routes, do things, 3 touchdowns. He was winning. He was doing things. But this little Dale Martin dude, Dale Martin outruns the whole defense on like a slant or something. It wasn't even a real post. It was like a little skinny slant, little skinny post, and just gone. And they're gaining on him, but come on, man. Motherfucker looked like, Elijah Culp, transfer corner from Charlotte, played well. Making tackle. You don't want to be making tackle. Like, this isn't it, man. Nobody played well for JMU. They won the game. They didn't cover the spread. They looked gross. Covered the alternate spread. Shout out to the MVPs who were sweating that joint. Covered that -9.5 that I came up with. Shout out to me. Army can't throw the ball. Not with this Kale Helms, dude. Kale Helms is not throwing it, but he's a lot more consistent running the ball. Moving piles, he looks the part. Kale Helms played great. He was running the ball all over the place. If Army's going to have him, they're going to do it. We knew they were winning this game. Charlotte's defense is slow. They don't match up well. They don't have what they're looking for. Zach Wilkie started this game, the JUCO quarterback. He eventually gets benched for Grayson Loftus. Loftus eventually does score a touchdown. This is all about Charlotte not having the Jims versus Joes. Like Charlotte has good coaches. They don't have good players. They really don't. Rod Gainey is terrible. Rod Gainey at starting running back. Take his under yards every chance you get. This guy had 19 carries for 51 yards. That's less than 3 yards a carry. Oh, by the way, he fumbled. He should not be touching the ball as much as he does. He is not good. I want to know why Cameron Smith doesn't get more carries. He looks decent. He should get more carries. Throwing the ball, Sean Brown's good. Some other guys are good, but nah. Rod Gainey fumbled twice. He lost one of them. He's fucking gross. Gross. And Army wins the game because they can run the ball a little more consistently. We don't need to see Dwayne Coleman. We don't need to see him. This Helms dude, he's nice, bro. Shout out to him. Miami of Ohio against Akron. Akron sucks. We got it. They got nobody to be excited about. They suck. But Miami of Ohio is very underwhelming. They win the game by 13, but they're very underwhelming. They are. They playing hero ball with DeQuan Finn. He's not that good. He's not. He's running around, passes hitting the ground everywhere. I'm not with him at all. So moving on from him. It's a Mac, bro. The Mac is gross. Speaking of the Mac being gross, what up, Toledo? If you don't know the channel by now, Toledo is a solid fade every week. Man, fuck Toledo. We don't bet on Toledo. We just pick. Toledo was a 10-point favorite in this game, and they were winning. And then they absolutely collapse in the fourth quarter and lose this game. Insane, bro. The most insane thing you'll ever see. Tucker Gleason won't get it done when it matters. Chip Trainum plays well, but it doesn't really matter. Kenji Christian, good player, doesn't get enough touches. Vanderoos has been here for 30 years. He's great. None of this matters. Toledo will just stub their toe and not get it done. And then you want to talk about a team playing for their coach. They're playing for Eddie George, man. They're playing inspired football. Gideon Lamprin, the transfer from Dayton, led the team in tackles, played great. Petaway has the speed and burst to get away from people. They could not run the ball in this game. Did not matter. They kept trying to run the ball. It was insane. It's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Maybe that's one of the definitions. These guys ran the ball 36 times in this game. 36 for 61 yards. They did not give a fuck that they weren't moving the ball. They just knew we can't throw it. Not against that secondary. We're not going to put it. We already tried. We threw it in the air. It got picked off. We're not doing it again unless one of our wide receivers is throwing it. And that was the RJ Garcia trick play for a touchdown. We're not throwing this ball. We're going to run it. Oh, what is it? But you think you're going to run it and punt it? Yeah, we're going to run it and punt it. The fucking plan was to run it and punt it. This is crazy Mac football, bro. It is gross. They averaged 1.7 yards a carry and did not give a fuck that they averaged 1.7 yards a carry. They were here to run it and punt it. They punted 9 times. They don't give a damn. There was nothing else going on but the rent. Shout out to Bowling Green. Have no clue how they won this game. Other than Toledo'd. Gross. We don't bet on Toledo. MVPs know this. If you lost money on this game, you need to call 1-800-GAMBLER. Get away from me. I really regret this one here. I know Northern Illinois is not a good team. I know they're 1 win on the season. It doesn't matter. These guys are 1-5 on the season. They can't score points. And in this particular game, even with Telly Johnson running pretty decent, even with them doing their thing, Telly Johnson, it's all 1 carry, by the way. He burst for 80 yards. But other than that, it was 11 carries for about 50 yards. So it was a 5 yards a carry type of night for Telly Johnson, which is what I would expect for a team against EMU. But EMU actually has a chance to score. EMU can move the ball. They got Dante McMillan. He can do this. So it's frustrating that I picked NIU. I did it out of respect for Coach Hamburg. Like, I'm cool with NIU. I know their coaching staff. I know the players. I like the way they're developing their stuff. But I picked EMU on the alternate spread, and we covered that. Pretty sure we did. Shout out to us. But, hey, what up? What up, MVPs? What up, MVPs? I told you guys, UMass is the worst team in the FBS, and it's not close. Don't get it twisted. Kent State's one of the worst teams as well. But there's a huge gap between UMass and the rest of the world. UMass is gross. Absolutely gross. Terrible quarterback play, and they still went out there and threw 48 times. They can't run the ball at all. They have no offensive line for that. And when you look at Kent State, I made it a lock, dude. I made it a lock. Kent State, Drew DeShields, 10 for 18, 4 touchdowns. He's not that good. He's a white dude. White dude. Is he related to Delino DeShields? No. Drew DeShields, white dude, goes out here and is efficient, gets it done. I'm so impressed with him. What about Darius Clark? Darius Clark, he's not getting drafted. But he's going to find himself in camp with somebody. UFL, NFL. Darius Clark is so fast. That motherfucker's 4.2 fast. Darius Clark ran back this opening kickoff in this game, and it was so impressive. Shout out to him. And he threw a pass. Darius Clark is a weapon. Kent State running backs. Jordan Newman, the Minnesota transfer, doesn't belong here. He's too good to be here. He's just finally healthy. Finally gets to carry the ball. And then Gavin Garcia, who missed all of last year with injury, was supposed to be the starting running back. They're healthy, man. They got all the pieces together. Trust these dudes. Trust these dudes. I'm with it. Kent State. Absolute no sweat. Lock. I made this a lock. Rico, how could you believe in Kent State to be locked? Because they're playing a bum-ass UMass team. Shout out to Kent State. I'm so proud of myself for that one. Proud of myself. All right. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Northwestern, Penn State. How bad is Penn State? Well, they're really fucking bad. Who are their 3 wins? I know one's FIU. Can't remember the other two. It doesn't even fucking matter, bro. They made Preston Stone look like a monster, bro. That's crazy. Griffin, they couldn't cover Griffin a while. South Dakota State transfer. They couldn't do anything in this game. It is gross. You know what's the problem? I'm gonna give you guys the truth here. The problem here is Drew Aller sucks. We know that. He's done for the year. Congratulations. But why in the world does Drew Aller have the second most rushing yards on this team in this game? Like, why does Nicholas Singleton only have 7 carries for 20 yards? That's a crime. It's a fireable offense. Oh, we're going to get Katron Allen more carries because he was averaging 7 yards a carry. Well, he only got 16 carries. That's not more carries. I need both of these guys to have 20. You need to know what your identity is. You are Iowa. You lost your coordinators. You got these dudes who don't know what they're doing. You are Iowa. You have a quarterback who can't throw. Your best receiver is a transfer from Troy. You're a group of 5 team in the wide receiver room. You have a terrible quarterback. You should be running the ball with 2 amazing running backs over and over and over. And now everybody wants to talk about, well, we can't afford the buyout. We can't afford the buyout. $55 million. Can't afford the buyout to fire James Franklin because he just signed an extension. You know what, man? This is a true story. I was looking to date a woman. This is back in 2014. I was dating a woman. I went on a dating app and I met this girl. I'm not going to say her name, but I met this girl. And she was a lieutenant in the Army. She's in the National Guard, though. Or no, the reserves. So she wasn't active duty. So I thought, I met her in civilian life. I can date her. Technically, I can date her. She's a nurse in the civilian world, but on the weekends, she'll be a reservist. There is fraternization, no officers with enlisted, but this one was going to be allowed. We looked into it. We could date. And she was down in South Carolina for some training. I'll never forget it. I was in Georgia. and I was driving up for St. Patrick's Day. I was driving up the coast, and I did a search on like Tinder. I don't know what app I used. It wasn't Tinder, but it was something else back then. It might have been Plenty of Fish. It might have been OkCupid or some dating app like that. And I remember searching for a woman, and I thought, she's not in my state. I'm in Georgia. I didn't even know where Fort Jackson was. It's an hour away from where I lived. I thought it was halfway between where I was headed. I was headed up to D.C. for St. Patrick's Day weekend. And I didn't have any plan. I didn't have a hotel reservation. I just packed a bag. I packed my suitcase, small suitcase, and I was just heading out for the weekend. And while I was driving, I was searching, or before I drove, I was searching for different connections and stuff. And I found this girl. She looked appealing to me. I didn't know she was in the military at the time, but then when she told me she was at Fort Jackson for training, I was like, oh, I'll swoop by. I'll drive halfway there. I'll take my trip to D.C. I'll make it 2 days. It's a 7-hour, 8-hour drive. I'll make it 2 different days. And so I leave a day early, and then I put it in the GPS, and it said it's an hour away. And I was like, what the fuck? Okay, I guess I'm getting there. So I got there, and I go on a date with this girl. And the date is awesome. I'm great. I'm always going to have a great first date because I have a great personality. I'm extremely confident. I look exactly like my pictures. I'm not catfishing you. 6 feet tall, educated, well-spoken, manners. I know how to dance. I got tattoos. I got muscle. Whatever. What's your boxes? I check all those boxes. I'm good. I know I'm going to be okay. So I meet the girl. We hit it off. Things go really well. And from that day forward, we're dating, right? She just says, hey, for St. Patrick's Day weekend, we're going to Tybee Island, which is about 2 hours that way in Georgia. Do you want to come with us? I said, who's us? She goes, me and my friends. I said, hell yeah. Yeah, I'll go with you for the weekend. And now I'm just going to post up for the day. I went to the movies, the mall, and then now I'm going to go to this island with this girl. And they got a hotel. They got not a hotel. They had a room that she was getting from one of her old friends from the military. He was going to let us stay at his apartment. Turns out that dude wanted to hook up with the girl, but because she showed up with me, he wasn't getting hooked up. He thought she was going to stay. Now he had to leave, and me and her stay there together. And he's like, I thought I was going to stay in my apartment with her. And she's like, well, I brought my boyfriend with me. We had just met a day earlier. She's calling me her boyfriend. Maybe a red flag, maybe a red flag. But we started dating. And that year, if I remember correctly, and that year, March Madness, St. Patrick's Day, March Madness. March Madness occurs. We have an incredible weekend. And every single week after that, she wants to watch March Madness with me. I found a sports fan. I'm excited. I'm a sports fan. She's a sports fan. So we're watching March Madness. She's a Michigan State fan. Go green, go white. We're Michigan State people. And we're watching Michigan State makes it all the way to Sweet 16 that year. Maybe even Elite 8. Shout out to Tom Izzo. And we're watching all the games. And every time we go out, we're at a bar, sports bar, we're drinking. We were drinking all weekend at St. Patrick's Day weekend. We're drinking. Now, I say we, the group of people. I don't drink. But I'm at these bars where they're drinking and I'm just eating my food and having a good time. She's drinking, getting blitz, whatever. I don't mind. She's feeling a little, a little frisky, a little froggy. Everything's going cool. So we hit it off for a couple months, and then her training's over, and now she needs to go back to Michigan. And she says to me, hey, you should come out to Michigan and see how I live up here. I'm a nurse up here. See what it is. So I fly out to Michigan for a month of leave. I take an entire month of leave. I take 30 days off paid vacation. And I fly out to Michigan. And I go stay with her up there for the month. And it's in the summer. So it was maybe like June. It's like 50 degrees out there. It was crazy, right? I'm seeing Mackinac Island. I'm doing this. I'm doing all kinds of stuff. I'm seeing Ann Arbor. I'm going to the big house. I go to Lansing, Michigan. I go see stuff there. I'm there all day, every day, having a good time. And we decide, we're going to do this. We're going to seriously date. So I said, yo, when I get back, because we're compatible and everything was working out, when I get back to Georgia, I'm going to go find us a house. And I'm going to rent a house for us. And then you move down to Georgia and we're going to be together. And she's like, hell yeah, let's do this. We'd known each other 3 months. So I get back to Georgia. I go sign a 1-year lease. And I start renting a house. And I'm like, it's ready. It's ready for you. And it's a big house. And it's ready for her. And she packs up everything, quits her job, and moves her whole U-Haul and all her stuff down to Georgia. She gets here. She moves into the house with me. I'm the only one on the lease. She's there, though. She's helping me pay the bills because I can't afford that house by myself. I was in an apartment before that. She's there. All right, cool. I'm doing my cyber thing, by the way. I'm just working, just doing what I do. I'm not an E7 yet. I'm not an E8. I'm not in charge of everything. I'm just a guy. This is a while ago. This is over, 12 years ago. 12, 10, 11 years ago. So what happens? She moves in, and while we're moving in and we're setting everything up, I tell her, hey, I need you to go grocery shopping. Just get the bare essentials. Just get the bare essentials. Because we have all these extra fees, like hookup fees for your internet and your cable, and there's all these additional bills that I had to pay, and I had to do a first and last deposit and a security deposit and this deposit and that deposit. I was like, hey, money's a little tight. I'm very careful with my money, and I need you to just pay the minimums or just, get the bare minimum. She goes, okay, no worries. So she goes to the grocery store. I'm chilling. Remember, this is a girl who drives like a Cadillac SUV. She's makes good money. I think she makes good money. She's an officer and a nurse. She does all this stuff. She pulls back up to the house. I'm getting the groceries out, and it's bottles of wine, bottles of Jack, 2 liters of Pepsi and Coke, all kinds of shit. And I said, what is all this? I said, get the bare essentials, like get the food we need. What is this? She goes, I can't go to bed without my drink. I'm like, yo, what the fuck are you talking about? She proceeds to get a job at one of the burn facilities here. She becomes a nurse at a burn facility here. And it's a good paying job. And they do this thing where you work 4 days on, 3 days off. And this girl gets shit-faced drunk on her days off. I'm talking about belligerently drunk in the house, blackout drunk. And I'm like, yo, this can't be real. She's on the phone with her friends sometimes, and she's just drinking. We're watching shows and TV and movies, and she's just drinking. And I'm sitting there like, yo, I'm looking over at her like, this can't be real. By the way, she shops a lot, buys a lot of shit. I'm a minimalist. I don't need you buying stuff. We're trying to get out of debt. We're trying to do this. We're trying to do that. Like, I don't know what this is. At this time in my life, I wasn't wealthy. I wasn't who I am today. I was in trouble. I was like, what is this? I'm living paycheck to paycheck. What are you doing? She's living life like there's not a care in the world. I'll never forget the day. I woke up and we had sectional couches in our master bedroom. Shout out to the Harupa Steelers. That's a great question, bro. Shout out to you, man. That's a great question. Shout out to Junior All-American Football. Anyways, outcoached them cats. Won a championship against them dudes. Listen to me. We had sectional couches in the master bedroom. It was such a big house. A beautiful home. Master bedroom was huge. Had sectional couches at the foot of the bed. I wake up. She's not in the bed. She's not on the sectional couches in our bedroom. So then I walk out to the living room. She's not on those sectional couches. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I walk to the other side of the house. It's a 1-story house. Other side of the house is where another thermostat is. And there she is, passed out on the floor in front of that thermostat. It looked like she went to go change the thermostat, and then she just passed out. And there's throw up on the carpet. So she's laying down, passed out with throw up on her side. And I'm dressed for work. I got to go to work. And I got my boots on. The first thing I start thinking is my alibi. I'm like, yo, I did not kill this girl. What is this shit? Oh, my God. So I just kick her foot to see if she's alive. And I kick her. I'm like, hey, you okay? And she's like, huh? And she looks up at me. She's like, oh, I think I drank too much. I'm sick. And I'm like, I got to go to work. And I leave. Now, at the time, I'm studying for these cyber courses for the NSA. I'm really busy, and I'm really focused on my job and my task of trying to be great. But I'm studying that day at work. I'm sitting next to my boy. His name's Isaiah Bowen. Shout out to my boy V. So we're sitting there watching. We're sitting there studying, trying to get our certifications to become forensicators, to become what we want to be for the NSA, right? Cyber experts. And we're studying for all these certifications, and we're really smart guys. And I'm off that day. I can't study. I can't focus. And he's like, what's the matter, Rick? And I'm like, bruh. And I start telling him, I can't focus right now because this girl's this, and I just don't want her in my house. I don't want her. And he's like, man, that's crazy. He's like, what are you going to do? I said, I can't afford the lease by myself. I can't afford the mortgage. I can't do it. And I'll never forget what happened. He looked at me and he was just like, I don't know what you're gonna do, but it sounds like you're stuck. And I said, yeah. I said, man, I gotta think about this shit. So I went outside, got my head straight, whatever. And I drove home in the middle of the day. Military, doesn't matter. I drove home in the middle of the day. Went to the house. She was still right there on the floor. And I woke her up and I said, hey, listen to me very carefully. You need to get the fuck out of this house. And she looked at me. She said, what do you mean? I said, it's over. I don't want to be with you. You're terrible. The last couple of weeks here, I had no idea you drank every single day. I had no idea you were a functional alcoholic. I had no idea you were binge drinking on your days off. She goes, we always go out to watch sports, and we were everything. St. Patrick's Day, all the sporting stuff, all the bars, everything. She goes, you saw me drinking when you met me. You knew I would drink. And I'm like, no, I had no clue. I wasn't putting it all together because I wasn't there to investigate you. I trusted who you were. I saw your success. I saw what your job was. But you're the worst type of person. I would never be associated with you. You need to leave. I said, you got 1 hour, you got 2 hours, whatever it was, and I left. And she packed up the house, packed up all her stuff. She called up 2 friends. She lied to her friends. She said she was being physically abused and needed to leave immediately. She tried to save face, whatever she was doing. None of that was true. I was just like, oh, this is fucking outrageous. She left. She took shower curtains with her. She took boxes of cereal with her. She took all kinds of stuff. Petty shit. And then she sent me a thing where she said, well, look, I had to sell my washer and dryer because when I moved, it wouldn't fit in the U-Haul, so I had to sell it. So I need a new washer and dryer. I need a new bed. And I said, you know what? I gave her $1,200 cash, all I had. Gave her $1,200, and I said, I'll figure it the fuck out. I will figure it out. I had to break that lease. I had to eat this, eat that. I lost my deposit. I did this. And I had to go to work and say, hey, put me on international cyber missions. I need to live in hotels for the next couple of months. Please help me. Put me on international cyber mission. My boss immediately, I was an amazing cyber expert. He said, Rico, we're going to send you to Germany. You'll be there TDY. You'll make an extra $82 a day. I said, I want to be there for a year. And they put me in Germany for a year. And I did international cyber missions out of Germany for the next year. I would come home at every 180 days. So it would reset my timer, my dwell time, so I wouldn't get an overseas ribbon while I was there. It was a favor from my unit to me. I got out of debt. I ended up buying a house. Instead of renting, I ended up buying a house within 2 years. Met my next wife, who's a bitch, I talked about earlier, and then I got out of debt completely, and here we are today. So what's the moral of the story? Why the fuck am I sharing this with you guys? It's because when you know something's not good for you, and you know you're not in a good place, you have to cut it off. Whether it makes sense or not, whether you have the finances for it or not, you have to cut it off. If you're Penn State, you know James Franklin's not good for you. You might be sitting around saying, where are we going to get $55 million? We can't afford the NIL of our roster. We can't afford this. We can't afford that. I don't give a shit. What you can't afford, you will find a way. You will find a way. You don't need to do this. You don't need to subject yourself to it. You know, I had a cousin, this was 20 years ago. I had a cousin reach out to me and tell me he needed his air conditioner fixed at his house. The air conditioner broke and needed it fixed. He needed $2,000. And I was really torn because at the time I had just signed a bonus with the Army reenlistment and I had $2,000. And I remember I called my father, and he probably doesn't remember this conversation. But I said, they need $2,000. And he said, they're going to always need $2,000. They're going to figure it out. They don't need you. So if you have family members who can't pay their bills and they need to borrow some money they don't need to borrow money from you. They will find a way. They will, for somehow, some way, those lights are going to stay on, or they're going to come back on when somebody can't pay their electric bill. You're going to find people who don't have enough money to pay their bills, and they're crying online, and they're doing this, and they're doing that. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And now here's the other thing. All the Penn State fans are going to sit around and say, why fire James Franklin? Who else would we hire? You're labeling a job. You're labeling decision-making with fear, but you're making a decision with fear, but you're labeling it with practicality. I talk about this all the time. The practical thing to do here is stick with James Franklin because there's no better options, because the money, it's not worth paying the money. All that is practical. The reality is you're afraid you might not get the person you want. You're afraid you don't know who you're going to be with. You're afraid you can't pay your bills. You're afraid you can't. This is why people stay in marriages that are unhealthy. This is why people stay at jobs that make them unhappy. It's because the fear is dictating your decision making. They're going to label it with all this other stuff. Right now, you work a job you hate, and you're going to label it with, oh, I got to pay my bills. I'm in debt. I just bought a new house. But the reality is you're just scared that you won't make enough money somewhere else. That's the reality. So for those of you who are like, well, who do we hire? Bro, we know who we don't hire. We know who we don't rock with. I saw a post on Twitter where they were like, well, it's cool if they fire James Franklin, but the head coach we want is this guy. He's a Nittany Lion through and through. No. You don't hire from within the staff. You don't keep continuity. You clear house. You burn it all down. Clean the house out and start anew. And you need to find a coach that's going to bring Louis luggage with him. That's how Signetti did it. Signetti showed up. It was JMU luggage, but it was Louis luggage. You didn't realize it. That's how they're winning. That's how you win. You hire G.J. Kinney at Texas State, and he shows up and brings all his players with him. Oh, they're not good enough to play at Penn State. Yes, they are. Your starting wide receiver is from Troy. The players at these other schools are better than you. You just lost to Northwestern. It's not a fluke. You just lost them. You have no semblance of offense anywhere. You have to hire a young coach that is bringing players with him. Do not hire Jimbo Fisher. Do not hire Gary Patterson. Do not hire any of these coaches that are sitting on the sidelines that are fired. You go find one that's bringing everybody with him. Look what Charles Huff just did at Southern Miss. Brought everybody with him. That's how it's done. So the moral of the whole story was cut off what you know is not good for you, even if you can't afford it on the horizon. Look where you're at 10 years later. 10 years later, I live on a golf course. I'm wealthy. I have the right partner with me. Still would never date an alcoholic. Still would never make decisions like it. 10 years later, I made the right choice. And I found that girl on a dating app a couple years ago. And she bought a Harley. And she dates a biker. She still lives around here. Lives in a one-bedroom apartment. Terrible decision-making. That is the low-caliber life you're settling for. That is what if you're a Penn State fan, you are settling for a low-caliber life if you stay with James Franklin. Low-caliber life. All because you can't afford something or you don't have a better option. You're better off alone. You're better off with somebody you've never heard of. You're better off with a group of 5 coach that might make the most out of it. Ask Wake Forest how they feel right now. They just hired Jake Dickert. How does Wake Forest feel right now compared to Penn State? It's Power 4 football. Yeah. It really matters. Ask Arizona State how they feel. They might have lost some games right now, but ask them how they feel. Kenny Dillingham, Big 12 Coach of the Year, in the playoffs last year. Why? Because they hired the right guy. You got rid of an NFL guy. And when you hire the wrong guy and you're with the wrong person, no amount of buyout should have you there. You shouldn't be in it for the wrong reasons, not for the money, man. You got to walk away. Ask North Carolina. What did North Carolina do? Who did they hire? Absolute bum. They spent money on somebody that's not any good because they're only going after names. Name recognition doesn't mean anything to me. I'm trying to tell you guys, you can apply this to every aspect of life. Every aspect of life. You have to make decisions that you know are good for you. You don't need to ask people what they want. We don't need to do a poll and go around. You know why? You know why kids are in church on Sundays? Why are small children at church? They didn't get to choose their religion. Why are they at church? Because their parents know what's best for them, or because their parents want to give them something that they perceive to be good. It's why you feed your kids certain food. You don't need their input. You're doing it out of the goodness of their heart. You're doing it what's best for them. When they don't know any better, you try to teach them the right way, right? So as we get to be like adults, a lot of people think you need input from everybody. You can just make decisions what's best for you. And as a university, Penn State, all the decision makers need to sit down and just go, this is not what's best for us. Losing to Northwestern and UCLA in back-to-back weeks is not what's best for us. That's an absurdity. You can lose to Oregon. You can't lose to UCLA and Northwestern. Look what UCLA just did. They just said, hey, Deshaun Foster, it's not good. You got to go. You got to go. But the Cleveland Browns, how many quarterbacks are they paying right now? They're paying 8 quarterbacks right now this season. Cleveland Browns are paying 8 different quarterbacks as we speak. 8. I'm not exaggerating. But they're getting rid of whatever they know doesn't work for them. What's best for them. Shout out to Penn State. Clean house, fire everybody. And shout out to me for recognizing that I had a toxic partner, somebody that wasn't on my path in life. I'm telling you guys, man, I've lived a long life. I've made a lot of poor decisions in life. I have. But one thing is very consistent. I was very aware that I'm a good person, that I'm not going to live under a bridge. I'm not going to be addicted to drugs. I'm not going to be an alcoholic. You guys understand it? Like, having high character is super important. I'll give you an example. When you're dating someone, I know I'm talking to a bunch of dudes right now, but when you're dating someone, you're going to eventually run into a rough patch. People fall in and out of love. You're married, but somebody's going to fall out of love for whatever reason. Things are going to go wrong. This is the reality of life. And that's when being married to a high character person really matters. Because we might have our problems, the two of us, but a high character person won't go to work and look for an answer to her problems. I know that we're having problems over here, but I also know that guy over there is not the solution. That's the coolest part. When you're with a high caliber person. When you're with a substandard person with no morals and no character, you got to worry about where they've been, who they've been talking to, what's going on. I'm with Kim. Kim and I don't argue. We don't have problems. We're older. We're more mature. But let's just say we did. Let's just say theoretically we had problems. We were arguing or whatever. And she stormed off downstairs. I don't ever have to worry about who she's texting, who she's calling, where she's going, what she's doing, because I'm with a high caliber person. That's not even on the checklist. And that's what you're looking for in life. Because when things go wrong, you want to be with somebody who you know is not going to be looking for someone else for the answers to your problems. Like they're not doing it. That's the best feeling in the world when you're with a partner that rocks with you like that. So when you're with a partner who doesn't rock with you like that, you got to get the fuck out. No matter what it is, no matter how many intertwining layers you have, no matter how much, no matter the fact that you own a house and you've been living together for X amount of time, you have the same friends, you got this, no, you don't need to wait till the kids graduate from high school. No, you don't need to wait. How many people get divorced after the kids graduate from high school? So many people. Why? They were just staying there for the kid. Well, that's not a good example. Kids know when you're not happy. The kids got a prime example of what love doesn't look like. There's no reason to stay with somebody to wait till the kids graduate high. That's silly. It's fucking embarrassing. See so many people doing it. And they think they're doing it because it's a noble thing to do. No, you're pathetic. You made your decisions based upon fear. I got divorced 10, 11 years ago, whatever it was. I got divorced a long time ago from my first wife. My kids are graduating high school. My daughter called me last week. My adult daughter, she's 20 years old. She called me. She said, "Dad, I moved out of mom's house. I got my apartment. I got it with 2 of my best friends. We're all roommates. It's my best friends from high school. My daughter graduated college early. I'm so proud of her. And you know what she did? She sent me her address immediately. And she said, come visit me anytime. She said, here's my address. It's the coolest thing ever. When my kid calls me to give me her address. My kid calls to give me updates on her life. Tell me what job she's working at now, what she's doing, everything. It's awesome. They know what real love is. They know what happiness is. And you can't fool your kids by staying together. And what are you guys going to stay together for? So you name call each other from a distance? What do you want? Shut up. I hate you. Blah, blah. That's not love, bro. That's not what you let them. They deserve to see you happy with somebody who's never hurt you. Your kids deserve to see you happy with somebody who loves you back. And it might be in 2 different households. It doesn't matter. I don't mean to lecture you guys on this. I'm just letting you know that right there, Penn State and their coaching staff, that's a broken marriage. And you can stay together and try to save face and let the whole season play out, and we'll fire them after the season. We're out of decency. We're going to do this, do that. I don't give a fuck, bro. They're not happy. It's not healthy. It's not conducive to success. Every day James Franklin stays your head coach is a day further away from you being happy, is a day further away from you being on the right path of life. I'm being real, man. There's a guy, look, I'm not perfect. We've been divorced. I've been divorced twice. But my life is exactly what I dreamed it would be. My life is a dream, bro. It's exactly what I dreamed it would be. Indiana fans probably feel the same way about their team right now. Miami fans feel the same way about their team. It's exactly where we wanted to be. I'm telling you, I wrote this tweet the other day. I said, I used to dream about the life I'm living right now. Dream about that joker. I'm sitting here talking to you guys. I'm doing a results show, killing time before the football games start. I don't watch the football games. It's the perfect time to go out, take Kim out to lunch, because there's nobody at the restaurants. We can go sit down somewhere and have a nice Sunday lunch and just let life. And then I come home and I get right back to work and I start on the early video for the MVPs. I'm living the best life possible. A lot of trial and error. A lot of trial and error. So much trial and error. I don't think anybody in this world knows the specifics of all the trial and error. I haven't told anyone. I would love to, but it would take forever to talk about all the different mistakes I've made in my life and the different decision-making I made in my life. But you know what I've never done? Never done a drug. Never knowingly broke the law. Never done anything I should be ashamed of. Nope. Because I am a high character person. I'm a high caliber partner. I am that guy. Always been this way. Now the results vary, but I've always been this way. So when you go and find the right coaches, the Lance Leopolds of the world, you want to know who to hire at Penn State? Hire Lance Leopold. Who the fuck is Lance Leopold? He's the head coach of Kansas. Have you seen what he does with 3-star players? What would he do with 5-star players in a recruiting budget? Chris Kleiman at Kansas State. They just blew out TCU. How? Why? Because they're consistently recruiting and developing players. Do you imagine what they would do at Penn State with that budget? There's just, the options are insane, but the consistency and the decision-making is important. But when you know somebody's not good for you, you should walk away. Don't worry about the price. You'll figure that part out. Maybe you won't be the same team. Maybe you won't have, but you know you won't be unhappy anymore. It's important. Everybody needs to understand that. All right, enough of that. Didn't mean to lecture you guys on it, but here we are, right? We're 2 hours into the show. I'm having a good time. Appreciate you guys. I'm gonna jump to the chat real quick. Let me see what's going on with the chat here. Only one comment. Rico giving out real good life lessons, man. Shout out to you, Nemo. Try my best, bro. I lived a long life. It's only right that I share it with you guys. Coaches Brian says, I hope someone on Virginia Tech's coach recruiting committee just listened to you. Hey, shout out to you, coaches. You know, man, the teams do reach out, but a lot of these teams have pride, and they won't admit when they're wrong, and that's fine. But the teams that do reach out are teams like, I just realized my camera's probably crooked. The teams that reach out are Montana State, ODU, La Tech, Southern Miss, most Division II, Division III, they got no problem reaching out like that. But the FBS teams, they're real picky about which ones they're going to follow the channel, reach out to me on Twitter, ask me for help on players, whatever. They're real skittish about it because I will also just tell the truth about you. Like, I don't give a shit who you are. I'll just call you out and be like, no, this ain't real. You're not any good. Like they were talking about Drew Aller being hurt for the year. And then this guy named Adam Brueggemann, whatever his name is, I forget his name, the guy that's on TV for CBS. He follows me on Twitter. We follow each other. We talk. We're cool. But then I just called him out on a post yesterday. And I was like, I'll never. I can show you right here. Nope. Clean house one. Nope. Right here. Adam Brenneman. There he is. Adam Brenneman follows me. I follow him, right? We're friends on Twitter. And he went out and said, my heart hurts for Drew Allar. And he wrote all this stuff about Drew Allar, blah, 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 blah. And I didn't get down like that. Oh, I can't even show you guys. Right here. So, Adam Brenneman here. Good friend of the channel, whatever. Support each other, like the content. He just got hired by CBS. He now does game by game or play by play stuff, and he does interviews and he wants to be a talking head on TV. That's his goal in life. Go get it, bro. That's not my goal, right? So he did this dedication post to Drew Allar, and I called him out on it. And this is what'll rub you the wrong way when I go refusing to tell the truth about a player because he got hurt is always a no-go from me. I don't give a fuck. You got hurt, I'm gonna tell the truth. Drew Allar never lived up to the hype. Wouldn't draft him before Ty Simpson, Fernando Mendoza, Carson Beck, Garrett Nussmeier, Sam Levitt, Sawyer Robertson, Luke Altmaier, Josh Hoover, Brennan Sorsby, Cade Klubnik, John Mateer, Colton Joseph, Lenora Sellers, Jalen Daniels, Braylon Braxton, Joey Aguilar, Rocco Beck, Kevin Jennings, Diego Pavia, Jackson Arnold, Haynes King, Connor Wegman, and Caden Veldkamp. Undrafted free agent is the biggest investment I'd give him. I believe this with everything in me. And I understand. Some people read stuff like that, and I get comments like, oh, you're rude, you're a clown, you're this, that. You shouldn't say this about injured players. Man, shut the fuck up. Just because you got injured doesn't change the truth of who you are. Right? Just because you died doesn't change who you are. Kyrie Jackson, 1.6 GPA, kicked out of 3 universities, arrested multiple times. Just because you died doesn't mean I can't tell the truth about how you lived. That's the reality of the situation. That's what everybody's mad about. You told the truth about how somebody lived, and oh my God, he ran fast as a teenager. You shouldn't say this. Those same people, Hulk Hogan dies, they're like, F that racist. I thought we couldn't talk about how somebody lived. Now we got to F that racist. It's such a double standard. It's disgusting, bro. Free Kyron. Losers. Hey, next game. Thank you, though. Shout out to chat. Shout out to Coach Heath Bryant. I'm sure Virginia Tech listens, and they just hate to admit when they're wrong about a lot of the players. I could have helped them in that DMV area 100% of the time. Shout out to them. Nebraska beats Maryland. Biggest win in years. Biggest win in years. Fuck, Mike. Dylan Raiola throws 3 interceptions, including a pick 6. Not a good look. It's terrible. Emmett Johnson did get a ton of carries, ton of production. He was very effective. I was pissed he didn't score. Shout out to him. Isaiah Hunter is the best wide receiver on this team. Him and Dan Key are NFL guys. Hunter's just a notch above the rest. Shout out to him. What up, Malik Washington? Freshman. Great. Love it. Shout out to Malik Washington. I predicted, if you didn't know, Malik Washington would be a starting quarterback in college football 6 years ago, when he was in high school, sophomore. I did a high school film review on him before he had any stars, and I was like, this is going to be a 4-star guy, and I think he starts at Maryland day one. His dad wrote to me. He played at Fort Meade High School, whatever. Shout out to him. The running backs are good. They don't get a bunch of stats, but they're good. Receivers, my guy is Octavian Smith. He's so fast. They've been throwing it to Knots lately, but Smith is my guy. By the way, the yardage prop for this game was Dorian Fleming, over 25 yards, Octavian Smith, over 25 yards. You guys want to know those sneaky good bets I put on the chart? That was on the chart. All you had to do was bet that for the day, and you would have been okay. You would have been okay because we hit that joint. What up, MVPs? Some of you bet it. Some of you believe in me. Shout out to my boy Jalen Husky, friend of the channel, transfer from Bowling Green, still playing out of his mind. Great cover corner. He didn't even get a pick in this game. Everybody else did. Shout out to them. 3 interceptions. They do this a lot. They did it to Caden Veldkamp against FAU in the first week where they got 6 interceptions. Maryland's defense is great, and they still found a way to lose this game. Nebraska had a courageous comeback in this, scoring 10 points in the fourth quarter. Congratulations. This game was 39-14, and it wasn't this close. Wake Forest is now 4-2 on the season. Wake Forest is so much better than Oregon State. It's not even funny. I told you I'm rocking with Wake Forest in this game because the Wake Forest coaching staff knows Oregon State. They used to play against them. They're the Washington State coaching staff. The difference is if you take that Washington State coach with all those players and you put him on Wake Forest, he's got better players. And now they're going to be better. They're going to be better than Washington State was last year. And that's exactly what it's looking like. Wake Forest is putting it together. Wake Forest has an NFL running back. Damon Claiborne is fast. Reminds me a lot of that kid. Who's that running back? Jahmyr Gibbs? That's who Damon Claiborne reminds me of. Jahmyr Gibbs. Faster than fast. A little undersized, but makes people miss, has the burst to go. That's an NFL guy, but more of a scat back runner or third down running back. Not an every down back. Not a guy that's going to run you over and carry the load, but man, he's good. Pretty fast beast. The other guy, Chris Barnes. Chris Barnes, freshman, redshirt freshman, transfer from Washington State, showing up at Wake Forest. 3 receptions, 3 touchdowns, 102 yards. You can't cover him. So you have Wake Forest with 2 great playmakers, and then Deshaun Purdy. Deshaun Purdy doing his thing. Deshaun Purdy doing his thing. Some guy wrote to me, and he's like, man, you missed when you said so-and-so Robbie Ashford couldn't play. Robbie Ashford's doing great at Wake Forest. He's not even the reason they're winning games. Robbie Ashford sucks, and he still sucks. And I said it was the worst transfer ever, him going to South Carolina to back up Lenora Sellers. Let's make that very clear. He never saw the field. So shout out to Deshaun Purdy. Still misses on some of his throws, but this one, they got it done. And Oregon State, this is a prime example of spending your money on the wrong things and changing the identity of your program. You went out here and threw 30 passes in this game. Really 42 passes. But 30 passes. Malik Murphy, because you're paying him $1 million or whatever, you have him throw 30 passes a game. That is not the identity of this team. That is not how you're going to win. The way they're going to win are these 2 running backs right here, Hankerson and Hatcher. They should be running the ball nonstop. That's how this team can win games. They need to rely on their running attack, their rushing attack from last year. Those are good running backs. Those are good players. This is not good. Jabari Johnson, the transfer from Missouri, lost out the quarterback battle last year. He comes in this game, throws a touchdown. I don't care. There should not be a quarterback controversy here. There needs to be a coaching controversy. They need to fire their coach. They're bad. The game was not this close. They scored 14 points in the fourth quarter. They were absolutely dominated. Shout out to us. Speaking of domination, K-State dominates TCU. Really unfortunate here. A couple things. Josh Hoover throws 2 interceptions. That just sucks. Josh Hoover needs to be careful where he's throwing the ball. He also needs his wide receivers to show up. Jordan Dwyer played a terrible game. Joseph Manjack was a non-factor. And then McAllister played it out of his mind. Ed Small, friend of the channel, did a high school film review on Ed Small when he was coming out of high school. Shout out to him. Does follow all the platforms. Ed Small played great, but he did fumble in this game. I don't like that. I don't like fumbling. Running room. Doesn't matter. They made Avery Johnson look elite, which is crazy. Joe Jackson was running the ball, which he never does. And Garrett Oakley is a great tight end, NFL caliber, borderline 4th or 5th round draft pick. Garrett Oakley's very good. Had 2 touchdowns in this game, 4 receptions, 80-something yards or so. Just sucks, man. Sucks when they put it together, and I was on TCU for the day. Missed. Game I told you we will never get another Air Force game wrong again. Air Force can score on anyone, and Air Force can't stop anyone. This game was ridiculous. 42 points were scored in the fourth quarter. That is insane. We were on the over on this game, by the way. Shout out to me. Woo, woo. Knew the over was going to happen because UNLV's defense can't stop anything. UNLV's defense has been scored on horrific amounts of time, and Dan Mullen is just really bad at that. Like, Dan Mullen doesn't get teams prepared and ready defensively to make plays. This is a team that I saw get scored on by Idaho State. Of course, they're getting scored on by Air Force. Air Force has Johnny Football. Air Force has a guy in Liam Zarka who can throw better than most Air Force quarterbacks. And by the way, he can run like crazy. So we got Cade Harris, Liam Zarka, and Owen Allen dominating for Air Force. They are on a generational run of offensive output, if I'm being honest here. They might be 1-5 and 0-4 in the Mountain West. Got it. They're losing every game. But if you're watching these guys, 30, 37, 35, 31, 40, they have yet to score under 30 points in a game. Air Force has not scored under 30 points, and they already played the best teams in the conference. They already played UNLV, Navy, Utah. Like, they already played everybody who was good. They haven't scored under 30 points in a game. This is bad news for these other guys over here. Air Force is going to keep scoring points. Vegas knows it. I know it. What can Air Force do? They can't stop anyone either. Fuck, their defense sucks. So we're on the over every time we see Air Force. Liam Zarka's him. They're not scoring less than 30 points in every single game. If that over-under says anything in the 60s, take it. Because they're going to give up points as well. They have no depth. They're going to fall apart. UNLV. Jet Thomas is still him. Colandrea played out of his world, out of his mind here. So rock with that. They still need to find receivers that I consistently believe in, but they got players. Shout out to them, undefeated, winning games. But my God, that's incredible. Air Force just can't be stopped. I'm dialed in on Air Force, y'all. I'm dialed in on a number of teams, and that's why we took that over. Shout out to UNLV for winning the game. Should have went to overtime. Air Force missed the field goal at the end of the game. Next game. Speaking of being dialed in, I know these teams really well. App State, Georgia State. I told you guys this spread is wrong. I made it a lock. App State is so much better than Georgia State. It's crazy. Georgia State can't score. They can't score. They don't have any offense, any semblance of offense whatsoever. So I took Georgia State first half under 7.5 points. I also took App State to cover the spread. No problem, lock. This is a no-sweat game for me. I feel really good about App State as a team, and then I feel really good about my assessment of Georgia State. Even last week when Georgia State covered the spread against JMU, they still only scored 7 points. So this is about a team that just cannot get out of their own way. They're gross. They're not prepared. I don't think they're well coached. Just keeping it real. I don't think they're well coached. App State shows up into this game with 6'7" J.J. Cole at quarterback instead of A.J. Swan. Cole played out of his mind. Remember, it's Georgia State. They suck. Running backs, Rashad Dubinion should be getting the Lions' share of the carries, but they got Jakari Lewis in here as well. Still, two good running backs. They're fine. Receivers, everybody's open because that's a shitty team over there. So everybody's open. I'm still frustrated that Stroman doesn't get more catches, but they both scored a touchdown, him and Barnes. It's a continuity thing. When you play a backup quarterback, I want you guys to understand this from a coaching perspective. When you are the backup quarterback, you have more continuity with the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh wide receivers, not the starters. You don't do a lot of reps with them. You run with the twos, or you run on the scout team, or you run other things. So you have reps with the backup wide receivers, not the ones. So you're going to see the ones not get as many receptions as normal, and then you're going to see the back or a tight end, a safety blanket. He's always going to be open. You're going to see backup wide receivers get more plays. It's a continuity issue. They're going to get better. He will get better with the starting wide receivers if he's the starter moving forward. Shout out to Cole. He played well. On the other side, Georgia State. Cameron Brown, apparently they're rocking with Cameron Brown instead of TJ Finley. And that's because TJ Finley can't run, right? TJ Finley's a stationary quarterback. He's a statue. And if you look at this team, when they play, they don't have the offensive line to do that. They need somebody who can extend plays, throw off center, to get off platform and throw plays, all this other stuff. They don't have it, man. When you look at the running back room, this is the worst running back room around. Rashad Amos is here. Rashad Amos, former 1,200-yard rusher at Miami of Ohio. Yeah, that offensive line was elite. Rashad Amos is a bum. I told him never to transfer to Ole Miss. He got mad. I told the truth. Rashad Amos is a fumbleitis guy, cannot carry teams, not very good. You know who's worse than him? Branson Robinson. The guy, oh, look at all those muscles in that hype video they made and that recruiting ranking he had. And 5 stars. Shut up. He sucks too. So both these running backs are trash to me, and I don't think they should be relied upon to carry the game at all, and they know that. So how are they going to move the ball? Georgia State has nothing. The guy they got is Ted Hurst. Shout out to Ted Hurst, friend of the channel, follows me on Twitter. Teddy Hurst here, always going to get his yards, always going to do his thing. Not good enough to win games. They are not good enough to win any games. I don't know. Georgia State, I can't imagine them winning a Sun Belt game. And for whatever reason, Vegas has them, and Vegas thinks they're good. Vegas has identified them as being good for whatever, and I don't get it. And we're going to keep making money against Georgia State. Money line. Because the spreads are so close, the money line is a fucking gift. They're not winning the game. Speaking of not winning the game, there's ODU's bum ass. ODU and Marshall. ODU comes out and lays this egg of all eggs, bro. People talking about ODU, run the table, going to go to the playoffs. Colton Joseph is Johnny Football. ODU. And I made ODU a lock. I believed in ODU completely because Marshall sucks. This score was not this close. 48-24, it wasn't this close. Marshall poured it on these dudes, scored 34 points between the second and third quarter. Insane. How are we doing this? First off, Colton Joseph threw 2 interceptions. The turnovers in this game were crazy. It's like there's no way around this. The fumbles, between the 3 lost fumbles and the 2 interceptions, that's 5 turnovers. You're not winning a game with 5 turnovers. So not taking care of the ball is silly. Marky James, friend of the channel, did a high school film review on him. He's from Delaware, doing his thing, doing the best he can. I can't carry you out of this mess when you have 5 turnovers. Nothing to talk about in the receiver room. 5 fucking turnovers. Oh, by the way, you have All-American linebackers. You have an amazing team. 0 sacks. No pressure on this quarterback, none whatsoever. Marshall is gross. They have no depth anywhere. Marshall's not good. Who are they rocking at quarterback? For a while there, Long has been playing quarterback. Now all of a sudden they get CDRW in. Who is CDRW? Carlos Del Rio Wilson. How long have I known about Carlos Del Rio Wilson? His whole fucking life. Watched him play in high school, watched him transfer around, ended up at Cartersville the last year. Cool. I know this kid inside and out. Coming out of high school, goes to Florida, can't play there, dual threat, transfers up to Syracuse, can't play there. Now he's here, and he's a dual threat guy, and he runs for 2 touchdowns. And he looks world class in this game. What is wrong with you, ODU? That is crazy. Absolute bonkers. Nuts. I'm just disgusted. Absolute and embarrassing game. I don't get it, man. That's college football. The inconsistency of young men. You want to know who's the most inconsistent thing in the world? It's a teenage man. He'll tell you he loves you one week and change his mind the next. Ask any girl dating those dudes. Fuck out of here, bro. Western Michigan beats Ball State. Ball State, who just beat Idaho last week. Impossible, right? Just beat Ohio, excuse me. But look, I knew Ball State or Western Michigan was winning this game. I picked them to cover the spread, picked them to win. Really easy pick for me. I just think Western Michigan's far better than Ball State. And consistently, Ball State's going to be one of the worst teams in the MAC, outside of UMass. They're the worst team in the MAC. It's going to be that way. They can't throw the ball at all. They can run a little bit, but here, if you just stack the box and try to stop the run and force Kyle Kelly to beat you passing, it's not going to happen. He is not accurate. One of the worst quarterbacks in America. That's a defensive back playing quarterback. So there's really nothing to talk about here. Ball State is bad, and Western Michigan isn't that much better. They really aren't. They don't have any receivers that they consistently throw to. They don't really involve everybody in the game the way they need to. They're just not that much better. But Brock Lowry is a dual threat guy that can move the pile. He used to be just their Wildcat quarterback, and now he's the quarterback this year. I'm talking about last year. And he's the guy, and he's going to just go do it. Congratulations. Whatever. We got it right. Navy, Temple. First and foremost, needed an absolute miracle to win this game. Shout out to Navy. They went for 2 and won the game. Fucking insane. Blake Horvath needed to do some incredible plays to even get to this point. And Temple's a lot better. I'll say it. They covered the spread last week against Georgia Tech. Here they are covering the spread against Navy, and they're playing a lot better than I anticipated. And they're losing games. They're fine. They're 3-3, 1-1 in the American. Temple's good. I watched it. I really watched it. Jay Ducker's running well, and they're giving him the carries. You know, this is a recipe for success. When you find the best running back in your room, stop spreading the ball around. Just give it to Ducker as many times as you can, 24. This is the right way to do it, dear college coaches. This is what you do to win games. Okay? Even though they didn't win, this is what you do. By the way, Evan Simon has yet to throw an interception this season, so he's playing out of his fucking mind because he threw for 345 yards in this game. They are making plays. Defensively, they're still decent. They gave up some. They have 25 points in the second quarter or in the second half. That's tough. But they had this game won, and Navy. Thank God the Navy found a way to win. Thank goodness. Easy one for me right here. FAU versus UAB. I knew FAU wasn't losing this game. Not even close, bruh. FAU can just score points. They were up 21-0 in the first quarter. UAB's defense is probably the worst in America. Worse than Air Force. UAB's defense, people just move the ball on these guys. They're out there, but they're not really out there like that. They're just fucking trash. Absolute trash. Caden Shields Dutton. Caden Shields Dutton has a breakout game. Knew nothing about the kid before the game. He's playing out of his mind, so pay attention to him. I will be paying attention moving forward. It was Sands usually being the running back here, but this Shields Dutton kid is going to require me to sit down and really analyze him closer. We'll figure that part out. Receivers, all known commodities. A little surprised to see Easton Messer only get 4 receptions for 29 yards, but he did throw a pass for a touchdown, 48-yarder. Shout out to him. It was to, I think, Platt. But UAB, man, when are you going to fire Trent Dilfer? Same thing Penn State's going through. You just got to cut it off. You'll be like, this ain't it, bro. I'm not doing this. I'm not going to be here anymore. You hired the wrong coach. You fucked up. You done fucked up. You done fucked up, hey, Ron. Hey, what up, Wisconsin? Speaking of fucked up, Wisconsin getting absolute throttled in this game. First thing I want to say is Wisconsin's going into this game with Hunter Simmons at quarterback. Who is Hunter Simmons? Hunter Simmons is a Southern Illinois transfer. Shout out to the Salukis. He was not the starting quarterback at Southern Illinois for years upon years and then came over here for his final year. No, that is a guy that doesn't belong in FBS football at all. Wisconsin went to war with blanks in their guns. Like, this is terrible. Absolutely. This is not an FBS caliber quarterback at all. I don't know how, as a program, you don't have high school recruits better than this guy. What are you guys doing, college coaches? I know a kid that didn't get any offers better than this guy. I'm not joking. I'm not exaggerating. I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to find this kid's name. Let me see if I can find his name real quick. He might not be on the list anymore. He's not on this list. He might be below the list. Not Cameron O'Hare. No. Not Nick Williams. Man, I wish he was here. I got a lot of notes I have to go through. These are all that things. I know a kid who didn't get an offer. He's better than this guy. He's a walk-on right now at Kansas, I believe. This is embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. Dylan Jones played well. Nobody played well for Wisconsin. Let me just rephrase that. No one played well for Wisconsin. And Iowa looks good. And we got it right. I picked Iowa to cover the spread. It was a lock. Iowa winning money line, lock. Like, I just believe in Iowa all the way around. Got it right 100%. Next game, Wyoming, San Jose State. This is the equivalent of, guys ever seen them dudes running the marathon and shit? They're running, and they start celebrating like 20 feet from the finish line. And then a dude runs them down, hawks them down, and wins and beats them. Yeah, that's exactly what this shit is. Fucking San Jose State was waving to the fans. They were waving to their mom in the stands like, yo, we won. It was the fourth quarter, bro. It was the fourth quarter, and the score was 28-14. You can't lose the game. Impossible to lose this game. They go and bench Walker Eget. And I don't want to hear Walker Eget was injured. So they start playing Xavier Ward, who can't throw a single pass. He threw a pick six. This motherfucker threw a pick six. Third string quarterback comes in. Then they get this Tama Amonsoni coming in. Little Hawaiian-looking kid, right? Terrible. They're falling apart. And then they try to bring Walker Eget back in to save the game. What the fuck are you doing? San Jose State. Out of your mind. Nothing was wrong with Walker Eget. He ended this game. You had no business benching him, pulling him out. You did not have the win in the bag. The way they lost this game is so horrific. It's crazy, guys. Like, I missed. This is a lock for me. I had San Jose State covering a 1.5 point spread. The read wasn't wrong. I can't control what them coaches do. I have no control over what those coaches do. Them fucking morons went out there and just lost on purpose. Somebody needs to study this. Wyoming wins the game. Insane win. Insane. Embarrassing. Speaking of embarrassing, here's two of the worst teams in America. Coastal Carolina, ULM. I told you I was taking ULM because I believed in their coaching staff. I don't think they have any game players. I don't think they have any, like, stud players or anything like that. Just going to take them because I know Carolina is speed running to the bottom of the world. Carolina's so bad. You know what Coastal Carolina went and did in this game? They went and played a quarterback I've never heard of in Shamari Collier. That's crazy, bro. They went down to the third string. Like, they were already going into this game saying Tad Hudson's our guy. We're going to rock with Tad Hudson. They've already given up on the season. And they go and try out this Shamari Collier dude. And he's dual threat. And he's running around. And he gave them some life, and he gave them some spark, and they win the game. And now it looks like Rico doesn't know what he's talking about. Bro, I know what I'm talking about. These are guys just trying motherfuckers out. Just trying people out. And it's crazy. You can't predict this stuff. These are games you got to just stay far away from. These teams who just, you don't know who they're going to play that week. You don't know who they're going to play. Aiden Armenta can't be your starting quarterback. I know Hunter Herring's not any better, but once again, I know a high school quarterback's better than these guys. And they'll go to ULM. They're asking me, Rico, can you get me an offer? I'm like, I'm trying. I'm trying. Only the JUCO coaches want to talk to you. It's crazy. Minnesota finds a way to beat Purdue. They come back and win this. Look, man, Minnesota offensively was struggling in this game. Couldn't run the ball. You got Darius Taylor back. Is he healthy? Sure. I don't know. But he wasn't moving the ball at all. Purdue was stacking that box, not letting that happen. So now you got to beat us passing the ball. And Drake Lindsey's supposed to be this great quarterback who can throw. He throws an interception. Half his passes hit the floor. So what does Minnesota need to win? They need a fucking pick six. They need a great play. And they got a great play. Purdue can't throw. Ryan Brown speaking of half passes hit the floor, Ryan Brown can't throw anything. He's a little athletic. He's running around. Malachi Singleton coming in, running around, doing great things. That's another dual threat quarterback who can't throw. So we got 3 interceptions by this team. Even their running back threw an interception, which is crazy. Stop with all the trick plays. And they fall apart and they lose the game. I think they overachieved in this game. I thought they played well. They're 0-3 in Big Ten play. I bet they're more excited than Penn State is. I bet this locker room is more excited than Penn State. At same record in conference play. Maybe same record overall. I don't know. Fucking Penn State sucks. But Purdue, man. I'm on them winning less than 3.5 games, was it? I'm on their under. I know that. They're a little good. They're good in the trenches, but not good anywhere else. And it's sad. They'll figure it out. They'll figure it out. Shout out to Minnesota. Thank you for winning. Hey, what up, Clemson? Clemson looking like the Clemson I predicted in the preseason. Very dominant, trying to find the running back room. Stop giving the ball to Adam Randall. That's not a real running back. Use somebody else. Trust somebody else. Please stop giving it to him. For the love of fucking God. Hand it off to Peter Woods for a touchdown, which they did. Do something, but stop doing that, okay? Clemson's great. Receivers are amazing. They're healthy right now. Antonio Williams is back and healthy in the lineup. You can trust him. He's going to be good. Everything else over here for Boston College, they didn't stand a chance. This was a lock for me, by the way. I knew Clemson was winning, covering the spread. I trust them. Most of you don't. Don't bet on your food. Rice sucks. Rice couldn't go out there and do it. And then UTSA sucks. We seen UTSA lose to Temple last week, and they come out here and win by 50. I'm not impressed. Owen McCown doing what he wants. A bunch of running backs doing what they want. Everybody's playing great. I don't care, man. I don't care. I hate UTSA right now. They're on the ban list for me. So is Rice because we don't bet on food. Shout out to my team, Troy. We picked Troy to cover the spread. And we actually picked the under, missed on that. But I told you I'm going to rock with Troy on the alternate spread because I trust Troy. Trust Troy, and they looked great in this game. Tucker Kilcrease was lacing it. His last touchdown to send it to overtime, fucking phenomenal throw, layered throw in the back of the end zone. Just killing it, man. They looked great. They weren't running the ball like I expected them to. They couldn't run it at all. Shout out to Tay Meadows. He usually runs this rock, but they could throw for days. DJ Epps looked great. We had a Rara Thomas sighting. Ethan Connors, one of the best tight ends in the Sun Belt. Like the whole team looked great. On the other side, Texas State couldn't finish their drives. Running the ball, 41 points. You sound great. No, they couldn't finish their drives because first quarter, 28 points from Texas State. And then just the wheels fell off from there. There was no way they should have lost this game. That'll break a locker room. That'll break a locker room. Running backs. Greg Burrell ran well. He had some chunk yardage plays in this game. I thought he ran well. This is the UNLV transfer. Lincoln Pear, he's always been good. He's a heavy running back. Kind of carries the load and brings it. And then Brad Jackson's a sneaky good dual threat quarterback who just keeps doing it. They got little receivers you can't cover. 2 small little dudes that are always open. Bo Sparks and Chris Don. They're both about 5'8". And bad as shit. Like them a lot. Shout out to them. But this is a team that fell apart down the stretch, and Troy showed up to overtime, motivated, and got it done. Boise State, I told you, if Jack Lane throws the ball in this game, he's going to throw an interception. He's going to. He threw 2. And they actually benched him at some point. Boise State, the secondary is so good that you can't throw it in, and then they just load the box, and you can't run on them. So the identity of New Mexico is to run the ball. They take that away from you. This is good coaching. And they force you to throw, and you cannot throw on this defense. Not a chance in hell. Riley's still playing out of his mind, Dylan Riley, but he's going to get scalped. Touchdown. Sayer Gaines is a bigger, stronger running back. Riley will get all the yards between the 20s. They get in the red zone. They start giving it to Sayer Gaines. He gets the touchdowns. Remember that if you're betting prop bets. Shout out to you. Gaines going to do it. This is a good team. Boise State is a very good team. They're going to always look this way. Shout out to them. Ben Ford had a breakout game. Chris Marshall's the guy they're throwing to. 1-2 punch. Lauder's a great tight end. They're doing well, but this was all about the defense for me. It really was about this defense. Virgin Morgan gets a sack in this game. The interceptions were real. You cannot throw at Ty Benefield. Ty Benefield is an All-American caliber player. Shout out to him. Shout out to Boise State. Last game that I was really, really excited about, because I wasn't excited about the Hawaii-Utah State results, but this one, man. San Diego State, hitting on all cylinders. Vegas gets it wrong again. I knew San Diego State was going to cover the spread. Nevada's not that good. And San Diego State's got a really mean defense. By the way, they got a guy named Jordan Napier faster than everybody. Jordan Napier had a punt return for a touchdown, 5 receptions, 110 yards. He's doing everything right. That guy's looking good. And San Diego State has a lot of speed, a mean defense, good coaching pedigree, everything. The only thing they're struggling with is Denegal throwing the ball vertically, and then he's doing it. He's not had any completions in this game, but he struggles with his accuracy at times. They did it right, man. They got it done. On the other side, Nevada doesn't tell us they're going to play a backup quarterback. Thanks, Nevada. But they did. It don't matter. We still got it right. The backup quarterback, Carter Jones, can't do anything. Not a guy you need to believe in. Keep an eye on their quarterback room, the injury reports. This team will fall the fuck apart if they don't have Chubba Purdy moving the ball for them. So, feeling pretty good about it. Defensively, they're not going to be competitive. This Labar dude, Dylan, he's playing out of his mind. PFF scores through the roof, one of the best in the nation, getting a bunch of sacks, all that's fine. He's going to get his, but this defense will be beat, and beat soundly. One of the best players on defense you're ever going to see is Trey White. Study Trey White. That's an NFL deep hitting gem for me. Trey White, some more Trey White. Do that. Shout out to San Diego State. They're looking really good. Hawaii and Utah State. Whatever reason, Utah State decides to start letting Jacob Conover play a little bit. Jacob Conover is a transfer from BYU. Never believed in, and Arizona State. Never believed in Jacob Conover all that much. Bryson Barnes was making bad decisions, so they had to do something. It just sucks for them. Shout out to them. Running back room, they still got a guy they believe in Miles Davis. He got 100 yards. None of this mattered. You can't stop Kofi Ashlock. Kofi Ashlock is your guy. 8 receptions, 113 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Jackson Harris also had 117 yards and 7 receptions. All that's really good. Shout out to Hawaii for beating Utah State, covering the spread. They are 1 win away from going bowling. I am sure they're ecstatic about where they're at this season. The breakout season we predicted at the beginning of the year is actually coming to fruition. That's pretty cool. Shout out to them. Thank you guys for watching the Results Show with me, hanging out with me. I'm going to go to the questions one last time. Remember, if you're watching on TikTok, move over to YouTube, drop it in the chat. I will reply. I will respond. Let's go see what we got. We probably don't have much. ODU dropped the bag with this one as they were in a playoff consideration, shaking my head. Yeah, Myron Kidd. I don't know, man. They weren't in control of their own destiny, right? Other teams have to lose for them to get there. There are other undefeated group of 5 teams, but they definitely, both of them, right? You're talking about JMU and ODU. They play each other this upcoming week. They both went out there and looked really flat this week. I'd imagine they weren't preparing for their opponents they were facing this week. They overlooked them. This is the classic trap game thing. And we as cappers, me as a capper and somebody who predicts games, I need to see it and believe it. And the hardest part is believing it, because I did see it, I did mention it, but I didn't believe it. And had I believed it, we would have been right. So there you go. Oregon State just fired their head coach. Nemo, yes, their defensive coordinator, yes, he just got fired. Congratulations. Well, look at the bright side for San Jose State. They are wide receiver 1 university. Sacudero is a beast. No, I don't agree. Sacudero leads the country in drops. He's not very good. He's getting a ton of reps. He's getting a ton of numbers and everything. Eget's doing it. They're taking away Leland Smith on the outside, the big play receiver threat. So now you're a slot receiver. You're getting maybe the second or third DB, a nickel back in front of you, a safety trying to cover you, maybe a linebacker. So he's getting open on routes. They're using him effectively. He's getting a ton of production. He's not very good. And I mean that. Like, he's just not. He's dropping passes everywhere. I think he had 6 drops last night, or he has 6 drops on the season. He also, like, if we're doing it, we're assessing NFL talent. He's not a draft pick. So this is not somebody that's a beast. This is not wide receiver 1. This is offensive scheme that will lead to production, right? There's an Air Force running back that's going to lead the country in rushing one day. He's not one of the best running backs in America. He's just going to lead you in rushing. It was that way at UAB 2 years ago when they led the country in rushing, and their running back was a 7th-round draft pick, and he didn't pan out. Like, that's just the reality of the situation. You're going to find players that get a ton of stats because of the scheme they're in. Doesn't necessarily mean they're any good. That's how I feel about it. So no shade at him. It's just my assessment. But thanks for rocking with me, guys. Appreciate you. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Talk to you later, y'all. Peace.
world flow, I just make it all rhyme. Rico on the beat, we gon' have a good time. The greatest sport is the sport of life. Gamble on it every day, bet right. They see me
In the
and they
game,
start making
Morningside has now
guesses.
gone over 4
It ain't a
in
mystery,
the
it's all
G
just a
Pack.
method. All
Hope they get their
about
chance.
green money trees all round, so we throw our picks like you throw touchdowns. They see me and they start making guesses. It ain't a mystery, it's all just a method. All about the green money trees all round, so we throw our picks like you throw touchdowns. It's like boss, world, player, coach, ref, fan. Was at the top. Do you know where you stand? It's like sport, leisure, job, life. Do you know what time it is? Do you know what's right? Sports, world, flow, I just make it all rhyme. Rico on the beat, we gon' have a good time. The greatest sport is the sport of life. Gamble on it every day, bet right. It's like ball, player, coach, ref, fan. One's at the top. Do you know where you stand? It's like sport, leisure, job, life. Do you know what time it is? Do you know what's right? Sports, world flow, I just make it all rhyme. Rico on the beat, we gon' have a good time. The greatest sport is the sport of life. Gamble on it every day, bet right. On my NCAA, I'm on my CFB, NFL, UFC, MLB. Yes sir, high school film review. How I started on the YouTube. When you get a little like, you can make a lot of moves.